Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
We're here.
To a sidewalk slam.
Yes.
It feels like we were just here.
2 days in a row. 2 days in a row. Ooh. 2 days in a row. Yeah. There's going to be a timestamp, isn't there?
I can do that, yeah.
Yeah, just to prove that
I can add one in post. I can have it say whatever I want.
We can do whatever we want, yeah.
We recorded it in the
We
past.
were recording 2 days in a row.
Yeah.
We did it.
We recorded the Battleground episode last night. You won't be seeing them 2 days in a row, but
yeah.
we recorded the Battleground episode last night.
Yeah.
This one tonight. This one we're going to get through the Raws leading up to SummerSlam.
Yeah.
With a very strange go-home show. But we're going to start with Raw from August 1st.
Yeah.
Live from Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Who should open the show but the new WWE Women's Champion, Sasha Banks.
Yeah. Pop was huge.
Huge pop. Huge,
awesome.
you deserve it chant.
Yeah.
Speaking of popping, she says it's about time that Raw popped off with a big statement. But again, she's allowed to say these things.
I know.
She's a youth.
Two youths.
Yeah. She talks about how over her and Bayley were at NXT Brooklyn last year. And she's like the reign of the boss is basically what she's talking about.
Yeah.
Because it is announced as she's coming out that she's going to defend the title against Charlotte in a return match at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. And speaking of Charlotte,
Comes out.
she walks out, and the crowd loves to get on a loud "You tapped out" chant.
Yeah, that's pretty great. And Charlotte plays it off perfectly, right? Like she has, I don't know. I've said it a million times before, but she's my favorite. Like my favorite of the women. Charlotte's my favorite. Like she is just when she was champion, she just looked like what you. I don't know, just the way she walked. Like you can tell she's Ric Flair's daughter.
Yeah.
You know, just the way she handles herself in the ring and that air of confidence and just how she thinks she's so much better than Sasha. Like she really believes it.
Banks in fact says that if it wasn't for Rick, she's like, you're Ric Flair's daughter, but if it wasn't for Rick, you wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And Charlotte says she doesn't need her dad. She doesn't need Dana.
Yeah.
She will beat Sasha at SummerSlam. And then Jericho walks out?
Yeah, it's really weird. But he's doing that whole the quiet thing.
Quiet.
He's quiet,
Quiet.
which I love. I think it's awesome.
And then he just gets in the ring and says, quiet. Yeah. And he says he was just minding his own business backstage.
Yeah.
I don't know what possessed him to come out to the ring, but he...
Picture wrestlers wandering around, doing their thing, doing
And they're
crossword puzzlers. It's
Sasha Banks is besmirching the good name of Charlotte Flair. Yeah. Someone get me a microphone.
Jericho to the rescue.
Yeah. Quick, producer, play my music. What?
Yeah. Let's play right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So he comes out, and it's that he's annoyed that Sasha is treating the princess, Charlotte, so badly.
Yeah, I love when Jericho's he says that she's only the boss of purple hair and stupid idiot teeny boppers.
Yeah.
Like the people in this arena.
Yeah. Says he calls her a brat.
Yeah.
And he also is he says that Charlotte has outdone anything Ric Flair has ever done.
Yeah.
Adding, who has he ever beaten?
Yeah. This is awesome.
Who's Ric Flair?
I don't know, man. I don't know who he is.
Oh, man.
And then that gets interrupted again.
Yeah.
Enzo Amore comes out.
Yeah, that's also weird.
Yeah, it's really
just
random.
Enzo, not Big Cass.
No, just Enzo.
Okay.
So Enzo interrupts. He starts hitting on Sasha.
Just full on. He's not interested in whatever Jericho has a problem with.
Yeah.
He's there just to try and hit on Sasha.
Yeah.
He's just like, yo, for real, how you doing?
Yeah.
And
That's pretty
it's
awesome.
what? He says he can bring the hot sauce and that he wants to make a certified G deposit.
Yeah. In the bank. Yeah.
In the bank. Yeah. And then he and Sasha just sort of go. They're like, "How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?" And Jericho and Charlotte are like, "What
is going on?
Do you guys need a room or?"
Yeah. And then I think Jericho and Charlotte mock the soft thing. What they call Enzo soft.
Yeah.
And then
Enzo calls Jericho Bon Jovi.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. That was pretty great. Because he does look like Bon Jovi.
Jericho calls Enzo a hip hop hobbit.
Yes. Yeah. And he actually goes back to that insult throughout this. Now, this obviously was just a vehicle to ignite the Enzo and Big Cass feud, which we'll get into more.
Yeah.
But Mick Foley comes out and he says that he may not be the boss, but he is their boss.
Yeah. I'm not the boss, but I am your boss.
Yeah, and he makes Sasha and Enzo versus Charlotte and Jericho, which is happening right now.
Yeah.
And then, the match happens. It's a lot of fun.
And Kevin Owens joins commentary.
Oh, that's right.
For no reason.
Yeah, no real reason. I totally forgot about that.
It's this whole thing is just sort of like, why is that? I mean, I'm okay. I was at no point was I like, this is wrong. I was just like, this is okay.
I never even thought about that when I was watching it. I was just excuse me. I was just like, oh yeah, all my favorite people. Like, just throw them together.
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
So a mix. By the way, I don't actually think we've actually had a mixed tag match since we've been doing this podcast. Maybe we have. I find mixed tag matches very strange because it's you have a man and woman on each team.
Yeah.
It always has to be the men versus the men and the women versus the women. So that when one gender taps or like tags in their partner, the other team has to tag.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like sort of eliminating a lot of the strategy of a tag match.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's weird, the logistics of it, just because WWE doesn't let the female and the male superstars really interact that much.
Yeah,
not anymore anyway.
Which is fine.
I know
I don't really care that much.
I'm sure someone in the comments will correct me, but I know there's a tag team in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla that is male and female. I think they're called the world's cutest tag team. And they were the actual champions. Like, they were the tag team
That's
champs.
awesome.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of either wrestler, but I know that that's a thing there. But I don't think the WWE will ever, I shouldn't say ever, but pull the trigger on something like that.
But yeah, mixed tag matches don't show up very often.
Yeah.
And so it's really weird. It's like, why is this happening? But Charlotte actually ends up winning with a natural selection on Sasha.
Yeah.
After a bunch of different stuff. And then after the match, Jericho hits Enzo with a code breaker.
Yep.
Which upsets Big Cass, who appears and makes his way down the ramp. And Jericho takes off because Big Cass is coming.
Yeah.
And did you see the ref tried to hand Charlotte the belt?
No?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Sasha's in the ring, and Charlotte and Jericho and Dana are backing up the ramp.
Yeah.
And you see the ref go like tear off around the ring and goes up to Charlotte, who just stares at him, and he's like, oh. Then heads back to the ring, gives it to Sasha, who like grabs it from his hands and is like, give me that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
The Bella Twins were at the Teen Choice Awards.
Yay.
They won the Teen Choice Award.
Yeah, they did it. Yeah, I don't...
What was it for again?
Oh, I don't even know.
Favorite? It was like something... It was like
female athlete?
Female athlete? All right.
Okay. But I mean, like, they haven't wrestled since... I mean, Nikki hasn't wrestled all year, has she?
Pretty much.
And Brie only wrestled... She retired at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
There's got to be someone else. No offense to the Bella Twins.
This is not like it's not athletic. We talked about this a lot. How supremely athletic wrestling is.
Yeah.
But it does feel a little weird that the Teen Choice Awards is like the Bella Twins.
Bella
are
Twins.
favorite female athlete.
Maybe it's just because people watch them on Total Divas, I guess. Mm-hmm. What network is Total Divas on? It's not on the network.
It's on E.
It's on
Isn't
E?
it? Wasn't it on E?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, it's on E. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that must be their exposure then, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
We have
Braun
Strowman's squash match. Squash match?
Squash.
He is kind of
a
like
squash.
like a Sasquatch.
He's a big Sam Squanch.
Versus Evan Anderhole.
Yeah.
Which, this is the guy we mentioned last time. He's like, well, I get $1,000 just to fight him.
Yeah.
But I get $5,000 if I beat him.
Would you fight Braun for $1,000? In kayfabe? Like, it's not a wrestling match. They put you in like a pit. Like, it's not to the death, but you got to fight. You know what I mean? Like, they put you and Braun Strowman in a big arena, 100 meters apart.
Okay.
And you just have to fight them, and win or lose,
you get $1,000.
Actually, lose, you still get $1,000.
Yeah.
But if you win, $5,000. And no permanent damage will happen.
Yeah, that seems like pretty good EV.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, right?
It's like worst case scenario, I run away at $1,000.
But what if he catches you? Then you're in trouble. You better hope you're faster than Braun Strowman.
Yeah.
But this guy does not do too well
No, he gets hurled across the ring.
Yeah.
Just wee.
I use the word slaughter.
Yeah,
in this match.
that's what a lot of these matches are. Yeah.
Yeah. He gets him in with that weird reverse. I'm not sold on the reverse choke slam. I think it looks kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Like it just, I don't know what it is about it. It's just like.
Yeah. I mean, they can't just have him do just a choke slam because it's like all the big guys do that, right? Like Taker and Kane and Big Show all do a choke slam.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense. It's, you know, you grab him by the neck and you're huge and you just go raw, and it's like, okay, that makes total sense. But
I wouldn't mind him just doing that choke thing that he always does.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just me though.
Backstage, Stephanie is hanging out with Mick.
Yep.
Compliments Mick on the mixed tag match.
Yep. They also say they're thankful that they have Braun on Raw.
Yeah.
Which made me chuckle. I was like, oh.
Mark Henry shows up.
Yeah.
And Stephanie congratulates him on being the official WWE ambassador for the Summer Olympics.
Yep. Is that actually a thing?
I guess.
Did he go?
I don't know. He hasn't been on TV for the last couple weeks, so
I guess
maybe.
so, yeah.
I have no idea. He says that like seeing SmackDown live has really like amped him up.
Yeah.
And he suggested it's time to reopen the Hall of Pain.
Was that his thing?
Yeah, the Hall of Pain. That was in his actually legitimately good world title run. Mm-hmm. That was the Hall of Pain, right?
I'm gonna have to go watch some of this stuff because I never saw any of it.
Oh man, did you see his like?
I saw like the retirement speech.
Yeah.
When he turned on Cena and everyone was like, thought that was really good.
It was good. He comes out in like a salmon colored blazer and gives like this, you know, like gives a retirement speech. He's like, I've been here for 10 years and you know it's been great and everything and it's awesome. And I can't remember why John Cena comes out, maybe just to thank him or whatever. Yeah. And then he just demolishes Cena and is like, and I got a lot left in the tank. And then
Did the crowd obviously went nuts?
Yeah. And then he became world heavyweight champion with the big gold belt for a while. Mm-hmm. And
is that when Daniel Bryan beat him?
I think
or
so.
Or cashed in on him?
Yeah, but he was champ for a little while there, and it was honestly good, considering that he's someone who started almost as a joke character, as Sexual Chocolate.
Well, no, before that, though, he was in the Nation of Domination.
Yeah. That's true. I guess he didn't start. He's had ups and downs, and he's never really been.
Okay, look, he had sex with Mae Young, and she gave birth to a hand.
He had a very.
Sorry, I should explain that.
There's a very, very low floor.
I think that is widely considered one of the worst storylines.
One of them, yeah. Top 5 worst storyline, definitely.
Actually, top 1 would probably be Katie Vick.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, but back in the Attitude Era, which is great, but everyone thinks is immune to negativity. Mm-hmm. Mark Henry had a romantic relationship with Mae Young, who at the time was in her 80s, 70s, somewhere around there. And Mark Henry's gimmick was that he was Sexual Chocolate, so all the ladies loved him, right?
Yeah.
And they do a pregnancy angle, which never works out, ever in wrestling, so they have to end it somehow.
Yeah.
And then there's at one point, I think, the Dudleys put Mae Young, so the Dudleys put Mae Young through a table.
Yeah.
Because that was their thing. They were putting women through tables.
Yeah.
And
to be clear, Mae Young, legitimately in her at least 70s at this point, went through a table. She's a wrestler.
Yeah. Former women's champion.
Yeah, they protected her well, but
still, man, that's still dicey. A top rope powerbomb.
Yeah, and they're like, she's pregnant, but isn't she how old again?
So this obviously causes problems with the pregnancy.
What a shock.
Yeah, and they actually found out that it was a hand inside her.
Yeah.
They actually pulled it out and there was goop all over it.
It was just a hand.
Yeah.
Like a full-sized
adult. We're talking it's like this.
I think it was meant to be like a sex toy.
Yeah.
I think that was meant to be the thing.
Yeah.
But they did do a bit later, many years on. I don't know if you ever saw this. I think it was at Mania, or maybe it was just backstage at Raw. But someone opens the door to their locker room, and out there is Mae Young and a dude in a full-size mascot hand costume, and and Mae Young's like, "Hey, have you met my son?" And he's like, "Yeah, how's it going?"
That's fucking great.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to look that up.
At least they can make fun of themselves.
I mean, WWE is usually pretty good about stuff like that, right? But anyway, Mark Henry.
So he's like, I am the strongest man that's ever lived.
Yeah.
his gimmick, the world's strongest man, is that he was legitimately at one time.
Yeah.
You know,
He held the record in the deadlift.
Yeah.
I think that's what gave you the title of world's strongest man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he said he's a 2-time Olympian, a former world champion, and he has one more run in him. And so Foley says, all right, you can fight Rusev for the U.S. title tonight.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, let's do this.
Sweet, Hall of Pain.
Hall of Fame.
Golden Truth are backstage, and Goldust thinks R-Truth might be addicted to Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
And they have a match next
And
against
Goldust lures R-Truth to the ring.
Yes.
Yeah.
They have a match against the Shining Stars.
Yeah, another TV sighting. They've done it 2 weeks in a row. Is this 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Truth is still playing Pokemon on the apron,
Yep.
during the match.
Yeah. And that causes them to lose.
And that he gets a Pokemon, which is exciting. But then Goldust jumps for the tag and misses.
Yeah.
Because Truth is like, woo, I got it. And then it allows Primo to get the pin on Goldust, and the Shining Stars win. And then the Golden Truth argue about it after the match.
Yep.
Corey Graves calls the Shining Stars a legitimate tag team, which is technically correct.
I guess that's true. They are in the WWE. Both teams, I think, I liked what they were doing with Golden Truth. I don't really like what they're doing with them now. But I mean, okay. Shining Stars, I think, have some merit to them. It's just that they've been, from my point of view, handled poorly. Getting them off TV for like a couple of weeks after all those vignettes and stuff was like brutal to watch. It was just like, really?
And what is, like, the New Day
Yeah.
have been the champs forever.
Yeah.
And you've got
Because a year in modern wrestling, a year is forever.
the New Day, the Club,
Yeah.
the Shining Stars, Golden Truth.
Yeah.
Are the Usos? No, the Usos
No,
are on
Uso and
SmackDown.
SmackDown.
So then you've got the Dudleys, who, spoilers, are leaving.
They're done. Yeah.
That's not a lot of tag teams.
No, I think
Am I missing somebody?
I want to say no, but
Because the Vaudevillains, the Ascension, the Usos, American Alpha, they're all on SmackDown.
yeah. Because they broke up Lucha Dragons.
Yeah?
What I'm assuming is that Gargano and Ciampa, and if they don't break them up, and then the Revival will come to Raw at some point.
Yeah.
But
Anyway, Finn Balor's out.
yeah.
Michael Cole's in the ring, introduces Finn Balor, gets a big reaction.
Yeah.
And they talk about how he was a very high draft pick. He was number 5 drafted overall.
Yeah.
And
For an NXT star.
Yeah.
Which is a big deal.
And that he's facing Rollins at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. Balor doesn't get to say much before, of course, Seth Rollins comes out and starts being a dick to him, which is great.
It's great.
And he's like, Rollins' whole thing is like, so you were an NXT champion.
Yeah.
I was the first NXT champion. And you were a number 5 draft pick.
Yeah.
I was number 1 draft pick. So really,
Yeah.
everything that you do is like everything I've done, but worse.
Oh, and he also, I love how he brought up, he's like, you shocked the world last week by pinning Roman Reigns. It was like, well, I mean, I pinned him after a career-threatening injury.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he calls Balor a bad Hollywood remake.
yeah, he's like random slam on Ghostbusters for some reason.
Yeah,
It's
that was weird too.
You're a bad movie remake like Ghostbusters, which has been very successful at the box office.
Yeah.
Like really successful. So it's
I
like
think that was just like cheap heat. You know what
I think
mean?
so.
Like, yeah, it must
whatever.
have been.
Anyway. Oh yeah, and then speaking of cheap heat, the idea of Balor beating him at SummerSlam is almost as funny as the Atlanta Braves winning the World Series because it's just not gonna happen.
Oh, no, local sports team.
Our sports team, no.
No. It's funny how that's always the easiest way to get booed.
Oh God, yes.
Like, I like sports,
I like sports too.
but it's just, I don't know, it's always struck me as funny. It's like, ooh, that guy made fun of our Atlanta Braves. You.
Rollins tells Balor he doesn't know who he's messing with
Yeah.
and invites him to go watch the special that the network did about him. He's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Go watch my special.
And Rollins mentions that he has a match against Sami Zayn. Oh, Balor says that he earned his opportunity while Rollins had his handed to him,
Yeah.
which I liked.
Rollins disagrees and says that he's earned everything.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's going to get handed to him is the championship at SummerSlam after he beats Finn Balor.
Yeah.
To which Finn Balor responds, no, the only thing you're getting handed at SummerSlam is your arse.
Yeah. How do you feel about, because I've looked around on the internets, and it seems like the popular opinion is that Finn Balor can't talk.
I disagree.
You disagree?
Yeah. The promo next week with about who his character is was great.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
So no, I think it's great. I just like that it's. I don't even dislike Sheamus, but I just like that Finn Balor is a wrestler from Ireland who's not like hoity-toity. You know.
Yeah.
I'm the Celtic Warrior.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's been getting better, right? Like Finley, Sheamus, Finn Balor, right? Yeah. Like, and I feel bad for Finley. They're like, all right, we're going to put you in a green tunic. We'll give you a shillelagh, and your son's a leprechaun. Like, whew. Then Sheamus is like, all right, you still got to have red hair and wear a Celtic cross around your neck, and you're going to be the Celtic Warrior. And it's like, all right, sure.
Yeah.
And Finn Balor, he's just a guy from Ireland.
Yeah.
He has an accent.
That's it.
What do we?
Rollins like backs off and he goes for a cheap shot.
Right.
Seth blocks it, does a Pele kick, which I don't really like because AJ does it. But I don't know. I just like these wrestlers doing the same kind of moves, I guess, even though they're on different shows. I don't know why it bothers me, but it kind of does. Not enough to like make me stop enjoying the product, but it's something that I notice personally.
Yeah.
But anyway,
championship match, the U.S. title, the #1 title on Raw right now.
Oh yeah, it is. With no Universal title.
Yes.
Rusev is #1.
Rusev defending against Mark Henry.
Yeah.
Why not?
Sure.
It's actually an alright match.
Yeah. I think Rusev needs like a certain kind of opponent to really be great.
Yeah.
But Mark Henry...
I fundamentally like Mark Henry.
Yeah.
He doesn't look his best in this match, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, he's getting on, right?
Yeah.
Like
he's probably mid-40s, do you
probably
think? Somewhere around there?
Weren't we all sure he was going to retire after WrestleMania?
I think so.
I guess. Anyway, Rusev gets the accolade on him, and Henry immediately taps out.
Yeah. That's it.
No question.
I'm done.
Rusev gets on the mic and says that the only true American...
This is the hero that they're sending to the Olympics. He's pointing at Mark Henry.
Right, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, but we're not. Well, I mean, we are as an ambassador, I guess. Yeah, okay. And then he says the Olympics are rigged. And...
He calls the Olympic Committee a bunch of cowards.
Yeah.
Says that no American deserves gold in Rio.
Yeah. And does he mention the Russian banning, even though he's Bulgarian?
Yeah.
I think because they had that Putin thing, right? They kind of dropped that, right?
Yeah, I think they're sort of playing off that when he's like calling... I think when he's crapping on the IOC, I think they're sort of playing on the like...
The Russian banning?
Because they banned they banned some Russians.
Some.
But not all of them.
Not all Russians.
The Paralympics banned all the Russians.
Yeah.
Well, there was a report. I'm sorry, I saw a CBC article on this. There was a report about doping in the Russian Olympic program.
Yeah.
And the IOC went, okay, cool. Well, we'll ban some of the Russians. And the Paralympic Committee went, really? Can we talk to you more, people who did this study? Really? Interesting. Banned all Russians.
Really?
Yeah. And people are like, why is that different? And because they're different committees, right? And people are like, why? Hey, IOC, why did they ban all the Russians and you only ban some of the Russians? And the IOC is like, I can't hear you.
La 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 la.
Yeah. But guess who shows up? It's to defend the honor of America.
Oh, yeah.
It's Roman Reigns. Down in the mid-card.
Conveniently shifted down to the mid-card. How long will it last?
We'll find out together.
Yeah, he just gets in Rusev's face and they kind of both
They just sort of have a
yell
stare
at each
down.
other and flex. And
yeah, they don't really they don't say much really.
No.
But yeah.
And then
Reigns hits him with a Superman punch.
Yeah.
And Lana runs up the ramp with Rusev and they look sad.
Pretty much, yeah. I can't remember what the crowd's reaction to Roman was for this one.
Muted.
Muted. Can't mute us.
Darren Young with Bob Backlund versus Titus O'Neil.
The fuck was this?
So this was presented anyway.
Oh, didn't they showed on the pre-show?
Yeah. The Titus was like, hey, Darren, you want to have a match? You know, just goof around.
Yeah.
then Darren was like, all right, sure, buddy, because they used to be tag team champions as the primetime players.
Yeah.
And then once they lost the titles to New Day, they just stopped being a tag team for no reason given. And so, yeah, they were like, okay, sure. Basically, Titus is like, hey, when were you ever really great?
Exactly.
And Darren's like, I don't much appreciate that, but sure, let's have a match as buddies, I guess.
Yeah.
Just, for funsies, which would be great, except that Titus cheats to win.
Yeah, he pulls the tights.
He pulls his,
which is awesome. I love it when wrestlers pull the tights.
He pulls the tights for more leverage.
Yeah, which doesn't
Darren
make any sense. But it's
Darren
awesome.
can't get up.
Yeah.
And which this, of course, incenses Bob Backlund.
Yeah.
Who starts arguing with the referee about the tights, and it's like, is this a heel turn for Titus?
I think so. I think that's what it was planned as doing. But didn't they do this once before already?
No, this is
because when they've done a Titus heel turn before.
Oh yeah.
That's what I mean.
Like a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was like, I know they've done a Titus heel turn before, and it didn't work out. How can you make a guy who's dad of the year a heel?
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's like
Megadad.
Okay, sorry, yeah. Oh my God.
Let's not besmirch the office of Megadad.
The dads are going to come after me, man.
Yeah, because it's like Megadad of the year, U.S. title run, or attempted U.S. title run against Rusev.
Yeah.
Loses that match and then just decides to piss off Darren Young for some reason.
I guess so, yeah. Like, is it just that, I don't know, they didn't have anything for either guy to do? Which seems weird because they have a 3-hour show and I don't know. I did not like this. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
It felt
why.
very forced.
Speaking of which, backstage, Stephanie McMahon hands Mick Foley a Raw branded iPad.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't think Apple is not going to sponsor.
No.
So I don't know what the point was when she's like, here's your special Raw tablet.
Well, because he uses the clipboard, right?
Yeah.
And he wanted him to upgrade.
And she's like, please come into the future. I don't know. Anyway, Sheamus comes in and is like, yo, Mark Henry? Mark Henry?
I just walked by Mark Henry in the hallway.
You give him a title match? Yeah. Mark Henry, you give a title match.
Yeah.
And what am I? And then Cesaro comes in and is like, well, everyone in the Cesaro section, no one in the Cesaro section wants to see you, Sheamus. So why don't you guys give me a match? And
they're both we're both saying like, oh, we're tired of being overlooked. Mm-hmm. And then Foley comes back, which I thought was brilliant.
Yeah.
Foley says that he got the same medical report that Shane McMahon got about his shoulder.
Right.
Which is always taped up and he had surgery on.
Right.
And he was a question mark. That's why we drafted you so low.
Yeah.
And he even brings up they actually brought up the draft interview that he gave.
The promo, yeah. Where
he's like, look, we know you're upset. You don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And then Sheamus.
He says he doesn't think Sheamus's head hasn't been in the game since he held Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, how about this? How about you guys have a match and the winner gets a championship match?
They just say future title shot, so it's super vague. It's like, you get a title shot. And it's like, all right. So yeah, that's obviously setting up what's going forward with them.
Yeah.
We see Nia Jax walking backstage.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of backstage, Bob Backlund is tearing a strip off Titus O'Neil for being a cheater. And Titus says that he's going to knock his old ass out.
Oh, yeah.
And Darren just loses it on Titus.
He puts on the chicken wing,
you
doesn't
don't talk to him like that.
Yeah.
That's my coach. It's like, all right.
Sure. Okay.
Nia Jax versus Ariel Monroe.
Yep.
It doesn't last long.
Nope.
Monroe goes for a crossbody.
Yeah.
And Nia Jax just headbutts her.
Oh, yeah.
Out of the air. Just wham. Get down. And then, just
she did the 1 foot
chest.
The 1 foot pin, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the match, Byron talks to Nia Jax about he's like, what's it like to compete in WWE ring? And Nia just points to Monroe and is like, ask her.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like it. Yeah.
Tom Phillips is backstage with Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Zayn talks about his match tonight with Seth Rollins. He says Rollins has a big mouth just like Kevin Owens, so he had the match of his life at Battleground, and he did exactly what he said he was going to do, close the chapter with Owens, and now he has to prove himself against Rollins.
Yeah. Sure.
All right.
Okay, Sammy.
Why
you
not?
do you.
The New Day.
New Day.
Yay.
Yay.
they show footage from the week prior when the club attacked them, and Kofi calls them bald-headed cowards.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Apparently the club has filed a complaint for this match, and one of them has to stay in the back tonight.
But who will it be?
Xavier Woods.
Because he drew the banana in a game of bag of fruit.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about that.
How do you determine who's going to stay backstage? Well, you play a game of bag
Why
of
would
fruit.
you ever grab the banana? You know what I mean? Like, I know the joke they're going for, but if you're the first person reaching into the bag, you know which fruit it. Like, wouldn't it make more sense to have like 2 oranges and an apple? Or something? Or 2 oranges and a fucking grapefruit? I don't something that's closer.
Yeah.
Why would you ever grab? Oh fuck! I got the banana. It's like, no, you're an idiot.
You took the banana out of the bag of fruit.
Yeah.
They say that they did the game. They don't even explain it. They're just like, well, we played bag of fruit.
Yeah.
And I drew the banana, so I have to stay backstage. And he's like, look, here's the banana. And then Kofi and Big E are like, and here are the oranges we drew.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I get it. It's a penis.
Yeah, we get it. Dick jokes.
Yeah.
Which, funnily enough, sets the tone for this feud.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
I hadn't realized that.
Yeah.
I had not realized
This
that.
feud is Dick jokes the feud.
Yeah. Well, ball jokes.
Ball
the feud.
jokes the feud. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's Big E and Kofi versus Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah. Non-title.
Yeah. Big E wins the match.
Yeah.
Gets the pinfall. And then after the match, Gallows and Anderson beat them up.
Yeah.
And then they knock Big E down in the ring and then then from them standing outside the ring, they grab his legs on either side of the ring post.
Yeah.
And pull him into the ring post right on Big E's big nuts.
Yeah.
And he looks like he is in pain, and then we see the medical staff backstage checking him over.
Yeah.
So it's a torsion, I guess. It must have been a hell of a nut shot if the medical staff are like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah. Which means, like, okay, I'm not trying to overanalyze this too much, but is it any different from when they just crotch themselves on the ropes? Do they get checked on by medical staff?
The turnbuckle's harder than the ropes.
What if you crotched yourself on the apron?
Ooh, that's the hardest part of the ring.
That's the hardest part of the ring, man. You'd be done. Harder than a ring post.
That'd be pretty impressive. You'd have to go in at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah. You'd have to do like a cartwheel.
Yeah.
And then just land directly in it. All right.
So Cesaro versus Sheamus.
Yeah. They have a match. It's always fun to watch Cesaro wrestle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Cesaro has earned a future championship match.
Apparently, because Cesaro wins. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I leapt right ahead there. A match occurs and Cesaro wins it.
Graham just jumps over the match.
Sorry, I skipped ahead of my notes.
Yeah.
I was
Cesaro wins with the neutralizer.
Yeah, thank
so
you.
I'm assuming from this development that Cesaro gets a title shot.
Yeah. We assume it's because it's got to be either that or the U.S. title.
Yeah.
But we don't know which one it is.
Yeah. We actually get back from the commercial break, and Cesaro and Sheamus are fighting backstage.
Yeah, they're not happy about it.
No. This is awesome.
I love this storyline.
This storyline is probably the best thing that's going on right now. It has to be, right?
It has to be. Heath Slater,
Yeah.
who was not drafted
Yeah.
in the draft and is the self-described hottest free agent, shows up, and he refers to himself as the hottest free agent, and he's like, look, so I need to make myself as attractive to sign as possible.
Yeah.
And he says that 2MB is going to set Monday Night Raw on fire because, you remember I talked about 3MB, the three-man band. It's the two-man band because Jinder Mahal is back. He's like, check it out. It's me. It's Jinder Mahal. Just going to pretend to forget Drew Galloway or Drew McIntyre as he was in the WWE. And, we're here and sign us up. And Mick Foley's like, okay, neither of you are actually on the roster, so why are you here?
Yeah.
How about this? How about you guys have a match and... Because we have a stacked roster. We have one spot open.
Yeah.
So you guys have a match, and the winner will earn a contract. And Slater's like, no, man, we're 2MB. We can't break up the band. We're bros. And Jinder Mahal's like, ring the bell right now. And Slater hasn't even turned around, and Mahal just topples him with a super kick and gets the win.
Yeah.
And then he walks to
Have
the
we
ramp.
seen Jinder since this? don't think so.
I don't think so.
Which is funny too.
He's on the roster now.
Yeah, he's there.
This is also probably his first singles victory on Monday Night Raw.
What? Really?
Well, he was on SmackDown originally.
Oh, okay.
And even 3MB were sort of in the same realm the Social Outcasts were. Like, they were kind of jobbers. When they would win,
Weren't they tag team? Didn't they win the tag titles?
Maybe? I don't honestly recall. But,
Okay.
I can't remember Jinder Mahal ever having a singles match on Raw. He had some singles matches on SmackDown, but I actually don't recall. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, we haven't seen him in the 2 weeks since then. So
yeah, I was trying to think. I was like, man, have we seen Jinder? Yeah. I don't think so.
Tom Phillips.
Tim Phillips
is talking with Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
And Jericho talks about how Enzo Amore insulted him and his scarf. And he calls Cass a big dumb moron. And Jericho says that Enzo has someone to watch his back, referring to Big Cass.
Yeah.
But that Jericho has someone to watch his back too. Yeah. And he's going to take it to Enzo. And Tom Phillips just goes, who? Jericho's like, what? By the way, you can when he says that, you can hear the crowd doing the New Day thing. The
That's pretty great.
I just love because the backstage announcers are usually like, so what do you think about this? Okay, and?
Yeah.
Really? And? They're very just sort of like a medium to talk.
Yeah.
And so Jericho's like, I have someone in my corner too. And Tom Phillips is who? And Jericho's like, what? What do you mean? You said you had someone in your corner. Yeah. Who is in your corner? Like really pressing him for an answer,
Yeah.
and Jericho looks more and more uncomfortable.
And he makes up a name.
Jim and Marvin Luter.
Who is it?
Jim.
Jim?
Jimin.
Jimin.
Jim and Marvin Luter.
Jim and Marvin Luter.
Yeah, Jim and Marvin Luter. You ever heard of Jim and Marvin Luter?
Jim and Marvin Luter.
Says he's really famous in Winnipeg.
He's the toughest guy west of Winnipeg.
Yeah, that's what...
Kevin Owens walks up and is like, that's not a real person.
Yeah.
But it's okay because Owens has Jericho's back.
Yeah.
And then Jericho's like, yeah, see, that's what I said.
He's got my back.
Jericho has, see, Owens has my back. Tim. Jim and Marvin Luter.
It seems weird that Kevin Owens is jumping so quick into getting to a partnership with Jericho.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not complaining.
No, I agree.
Because it's awesome, but it's just like
it's
for
not
a
really-
character, the character he's built.
There's no real sort of motivation for it.
Yeah. But it's awesome. Like, I'm just willing to look past that because putting these two... The only thing I don't like about putting these two together is that they're on the same segment. So we're not splitting them, like they're not...
Yeah.
I don't get to like watch Kevin Owens do something funny
Yeah.
or awesome. And then I know looking later on the card, like I'm going to have Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
But, I mean, them together is still awesome.
I just want to see Jim and Marvin Luter.
Toughest man in...
Jim and Marvin Luter. Sami Zayn versus Seth Rollins.
Yep.
It's a good match.
Yeah. This is Sami Zayn. Is this the match where he hurt his ankle? Like, hurt his ankle? He, like, did a...
Or is it?
It's this match, I think, because Sami Zayn did the little leapfrog thing, and when he lands, he like pretends to twist his ankle, and he spends the whole match fighting on one leg. It's awesome. And then Seth Rollins eventually... No, he didn't. No, maybe this isn't the right match.
I think it's more
God,
recent.
they've wrestled again in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. No, I screwed it up. Because this match is a regular match. Seth Rollins wins with pedigree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because Sammy misses the haluva kick at the end of this match.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're good.
Next up, live on Raw, Brock Lesnar.
He's back.
Paul Heyman comes out. Paul Heyman introduces himself.
Yep.
The advocate of the beast, Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
And then he introduces the beast of the Broctagon,
Yeah.
the ruler and conqueror of the WWE Universe and the Viper Slayer,
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar. Lesnar comes out, huge reaction, Suplex City chant.
Yep.
Heyman says that at SummerSlam, Brock Lesnar will entertain you.
Yep.
And he says that Lesnar's form of entertainment is not the kind that they like to market in the WWE. And he says that Lesnar's form of entertainment is not the kind that they like to market in the WWE. And he says that Lesnar's form of entertainment is not the kind that they like to market in the WWE. And he says that Lesnar's form of entertainment is not the kind that they like to market in the WWE. And he says that Lesnar's form of entertainment is not the kind that they like to market in the WWE. And he says that Lesnar's form of entertainment is not the kind that they like to market in the WWE. And he says that Lesnar's form of entertainment is not the kind that they like to market in the WWE. And he says that Lesnar's form of entertainment is not the kind that they like to market in the WWE. And he says that Lesnar's form of entertainment is not the kind that they like to market in the WWE. And he says that Lesnar's form of entertainment is not the kind that they like to market in the WWE. And he says that Lesnar's form of entertainment is not the kind that they like to market in the WWE. And he says that Lesnar's form of entertainment is not the kind that they like to market in the WWE. And he because his brand of entertainment is violence.
Yes.
And he knows he shouldn't use that word, but because he's standing next to Brock Lesnar, he can get away with anything.
Yeah.
And he's talking about the new era. The new era needs to step up to Brock's level.
Yeah. Orton has no chance against Lesnar, but he may have a chance at surviving. Mm-hmm. He goes on and says, "You will never, ever hit an RK," and then literally out of nowhere, Randy Orton comes darting in from off camera through the crowd, and gives...
I saw a cell phone video. He was under the ring.
Oh, was he?
So he tumbles out and jumps up from the back.
awesome.
Yeah. He was just waiting. Which
How long do you think he was waiting there for?
I think
Because there's no secret tunnel, is there?
no. I think they did like a thing where like during the commercial break, they were showing a video on the screen, so they took the lights down and a bunch of dudes in hoodies came out and checked the ring and stuff, and then zoop.
You know, when I was a kid, I always thought there was a big tunnel
That'd be sweet.
that they crawled under, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, to get in there.
Sadly.
Yeah, no, it's not a big tunnel. Okay. Yeah, Randy Orton hits an RKO out of nowhere. Everyone freaks out. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, and then he runs up into the crowd.
Yeah.
And does his pose, his whatever pose. That pose.
It's like that Bloodborne pose. It's close enough.
And that's the show, actually.
That's it, yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, it's cool. I liked
Now
it.
I have my notes.
A lot of people were so up in arms about, well, why have the brand split if people are just going to be on each other's shows?
Because these guys have a match.
I know, but it's just it never ceases to
it's
amaze
not
me
random.
what people will complain about.
This one's not. Yeah.
It's like any show, you know what I mean? But it's just like any TV show. People will it finds just random things to complain about, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's just it makes it less special. It's like, come on, man. Just let them do their thing.
Raw for August 8th.
Yep.
We see a video hyping up Orton Lesnar, which they say is 15 years in the making.
Well, that's like saying AJ Styles and John Cena was 15 years in the making.
Yeah, sure, they've been wrestling for the same length of time.
I didn't know they hadn't wrestled.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I was like, really? Someone in the comments will probably tell us they have.
They probably have.
Yeah, but are they just talking about major pay-per-views?
I don't know.
They've never wrestled, but
There's a great video package they put together with talking about being in, because right now NXT is the developmental territory. At the time, it was a non-televised. No, there were tapings. They only played regionally though. But OVW, which was Ohio Valley Wrestling, I think, and that was the developmental territory. And they show all these clips of Brock.
Please mention the one that I think you're going to mention.
Well, it's Brock, Randy Orton, John Cena,
Shelton Benjamin,
Batista, and Batista.
But Batista's wearing a big chain.
Batista's wearing a chain because he's the.
Was he there?
Is he just the animal?
Is he probably just because they called him the animal in the main roster?
Yeah,
right?
the animal Batista, but I think he's just the animal. But John Cena is the prototype.
Really?
Yeah, he was the prototype before he was.
That's an awful name.
Well, because he was a cyborg.
For real? Did he come out dressed as a cyborg?
That was the gimmick.
He was actually a cyborg?
Yeah. His gimmick was his name was.
They didn't do anything to him. There was no. Just, you know what I mean? Though, was he Universal Soldier, Jean-Claude Van Damme, that cyborg?
I guess. His name was the prototype.
But in kayfabe, they played him off as a cyborg.
Yeah.
I am 50% man, 50% machine. You are 100% fatality.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah. Okay, that's way better. That's amazing. How could you not get over with that?
Because
you're an actual cyborg.
Probably because it was really stupid.
Probably because it was dumb, but goddamn.
As a result of...
Sorry, the part of that history lesson, too, is a lot of people spout off about the class of 2002 from OVW. This is a big thing that a lot of people throw out, because those... maybe minus Shelton Benjamin, but... four of the biggest names in modern wrestling, right?
Yeah.
From the 2000s on.
Yeah.
So, look what you've got there. Those four names, Lesnar, Orton, Batista, and Cena, probably made more money than probably any other four names.
And then they spent a decade not developing anybody.
Yeah, pretty much. And then they were like, oh shit, we should probably develop some people.
Yeah. So because of Randy hitting Lesnar with the RKO,
Yeah.
Mick Foley has invited Daniel Bryan, the general manager of SmackDown, to come to Raw to clear the air.
Yeah.
And also, Puff Daddy is here.
Why?
We got a great show for you tonight. Puff Daddy's here, so stick around.
You kids in your hip hop, hippity hoppity.
I don't know why. Anyway, Enzo and Cass come to the ring.
Does Puff Daddy still make music?
I don't think he makes his own music. Oh,
He
wait,
just
no.
produces?
No, because they... why is he there? Because he was the musical director for WWE 2K17.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
He picked
yeah.
he picked the soundtrack.
Yeah. I think I might actually buy a wrestling game for the first time. I'm gonna buy the new one, I think.
I had a lot of fun with a lot of people have asked me to do another.
I actually have never watched that.
It's really dumb,
Yeah.
but it's pretty funny. I really enjoyed it. I do want to do another one. Our stream where we did a wrestling pay-per-view, but I made characters based on Loading Ready Run characters and then just let the computer fight.
Yeah.
There was one of the matches was amazing. It was a 3-on-3 tag match, and like the build and storyline within the match, we were like, this worked out so well.
Yeah.
Anyway, Enzo and Cass come down.
Yeah.
Enzo dances around a bit before mentioning Sasha last week and
Yeah.
how he was laying the Mac down.
And how Jericho ruined it. He messed it up for him by interrupting.
And Jericho comes out
Yeah.
with his scarf. He calls them a couple of goofballs
Yeah.
and says
I
that
love how anything that Jericho says, I just find funny. Like even
Yeah.
just a dumb word like goofball, just the way he delivers it.
and then he asks them how are you doing? Yeah. So then Kevin Owens comes out
Yeah.
and they make their way to the ring because Jericho says, I love that he's still trying to save face on this.
Yeah.
He says that he spoke to Jim and Marvin Luter. He's like, well, I talked to Jim and Marvin Luter, and
Yeah.
he said that I should get Kevin Owens in my corner. And it's like, Chris, no one believes you.
Yeah.
It's great because they're close Canadian brothers. They say.
Doesn't Cass pretty much paint a picture of them being in the bath together?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that? Yeah.
He's like, Owens has my back. Through hell or high water, Owens has my back. You got my back, right? And Owens is like,
Yeah.
yeah, I got your back, sure. And then Owens says he doesn't care if Cass is 7 feet tall. Owens is going to hurt him. So then Cass gets in Owens' face, and Owens is like, but if it's not me who hurts you, then Jericho will. Jericho's like, what the hell, man?
Yeah. When he was talking to Big Cass too, I loved how Owens was like, yeah, like I can actually kind of relate to you because I know what it's like to have a waste of space best friend holding you down. And he talks about how how Cass brought his dead weight with him to Raw instead of dropping it. And Owens has to look at it and hear it vomit nonsensical garbage.
And Jericho reiterates Owens' threat to Big Cass.
Yeah.
And Big Cass is like, well, then let's just do this right now. And Jericho's like, well, I wasn't talking to you. And Cass is like, you were looking directly at me.
It's so good.
And finally, that Jericho warns Enzo that he'd better be prepared because he's going to get it.
Yeah.
And Enzo looks confused and says whenever he finds out what it is, he'll shove it down Jericho's throat. And this starts this miniature running gag of Jericho saying, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
And people are like, what is it? And he just goes, it. It's it. You're going to get it.
Only Jericho could get it over.
Yeah. It.
Drink it
It's
in,
man.
Fucking unbelievable.
So this is actually a singles match. It's
Yeah.
Enzo versus Jericho with people in their respective corners. I'm glad the flex pin is back.
It's so good.
Since you brought it up. It's such a dick move.
Come on, baby! Love it. Basically, the ending comes where Owens interferes, grabs Enzo's leg, and causes Jericho to hit a code breaker. Mm-hmm. But before he can get the pin, Big Cass runs down, beats up Jericho, or hits Jericho with a big boot for a disqualification.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
So that's fine. And then Kevin Owens is just screaming about how they won and he had Jericho's back.
Yeah. And then Enzo gets on the mic and says that the challenge is accepted. We'll see you at our backyard at SummerSlam.
And Owens agrees and says they'll kick their ass because they're winners.
Yes.
So, okay.
Okay.
Mick Foley's talking on his phone and says they need to nip this whole Brock Lesnar Orton thing in the bud. And that's why he invited Daniel Bryan. He's talking to Stephanie on the phone. Sasha comes in and...
this is where they bring up he's like, oh yeah, I'm totally using the tablet. Not my old clipboard. And he's using the old clipboard.
Right.
Sure.
Why not? Give him some character.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sasha Banks comes in and she claims that she wants her SummerSlam match changed to a handicap match so we can keep her eye on Dana Brooke.
Yeah,
which is weird.
She basically is like, look, we already know it's going to be 2-on-1.
Yeah.
So let's just make it a handicap match.
Yeah.
Let's just codify it.
Yeah.
Because then at least Dana has to like stay at the turnbuckle and the ref has to give a shit.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
which makes sense.
Yeah.
Like it's a great reasoning for like a baby face to go through.
Yeah, if she's going to be there, let's make her part of it so that it's all above board and the ref will actually care if she's breaking the rules.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, but then Foley's like, well, your match 2 weeks ago was amazing and everyone wants to see the rematch. So let's try to give you a chance to make it a one-on-one.
Yeah.
You go one-on-one against Dana tonight, and if you win, she's banned from ringside, and if she wins, then we'll do your handicap idea.
Yeah.
And so she's like, okay.
We got
Braun Strowman versus Jorel Nelson.
Oh right.
This is the one that we talked about last week.
Oh, this is the guy just sitting there.
Byron Sack just looks like he's about to throw up.
Yeah.
And Byron's like, so what do you think about facing Braun Strowman? And the guy's just like, oh.
I don't want to be here.
The bell rings and the guy immediately drops to the apron and he's like, just tries to escape. And Strowman punches him off the apron and throws him back in the ring and hits him with a massive clothesline and then reverse choke slam. And the guy looks like he's unconscious.
Yeah. Braun yells about how everyone will fall after the match.
And he like licks his lips.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like, okay. All right. You do you, Braun.
Puff Diddy Daddy Combs is backstage.
Yeah.
He compliments Foley on the general manager position.
Sure.
He says WWE treats him like family, and he wants to give Foley front row tickets to his upcoming show, which is cool.
Yeah.
Kofi and Woods walk in. They congratulate Combs on being the that's soundtrack curator. That's what it is.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And I love this. That anytime this has been happening since this one. Anytime New Day and Foley are in the same backstage scene, one of the New Day has like an open box of Bootios, and Mick Foley is just like, oh, and just like constantly just grabbing handfuls of Bootios out of the thing. Puff Daddy asks about Big E's nuts.
Yeah.
He's like, so how's Big E's nuts doing? And you can't say that on television. And then he agrees to phone Big E and say hi.
Yeah.
Titus O'Neil versus Darren Young 2.
Yeah. It ends pretty much in the reverse.
Yeah, it ends very, very quickly.
Yeah.
It ends with Young sliding off Titus's shoulders and flipping Titus up and grabbing his tights for the win, because I guess turnabout is fair play.
Yep.
Backlund goes insane. I think anything makes Backlund go insane.
Yeah, I think that's just, there's no off switch.
Yeah.
Just either get Backlund or Backlund sleeping.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
hey, Bob, here's a glass of tap water.
Make Darren Young great again. Yeah.
Seth Rollins talks about Finn Balor.
Yeah.
And he's basically just sort of, he says that even he has learned a new thing or two from the new era of WWE. And case in point, Finn Balor, he figured he was a cheap second-rate knockoff. He thought Balor was a second-rate knockoff of him. More ripping on movies, maybe more earned this time. Rollins thought that Balor was the Jared Leto to Rollins' Heath Ledger.
Ooh. Ow. That's a deep cut.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And he's like, that's not even his real name. Finn means famous warrior, and Balor means demon king.
Yeah.
That'd be like That'd be like if I called myself Rambo Apocalypse.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Seth is awesome. I don't think we say that enough.
He says that Balor is disrespectful, arrogant, and ignorant, which, like all good heels, he is actually describing himself.
Yeah.
And in 200 years, people will be telling stories about how he killed the Beast and crushed the face that runs the place, because he beat Brock and he beat John Cena.
Well, beat Brock.
He won a match that Brock was in.
Yeah.
And then and then he conquered the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Cheers from the crowd. Mm-hmm. And that at SummerSlam he'll add Finn Balor to his list of people that he's defeated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
There's another Sheamus versus Cesaro match.
Yep.
Which is a good. It gets a "This is awesome" chant. It's a good. It's a good.
It was
match.
a great match. Like both guys are great. Like we know Cesaro was great. I don't think Sheamus gets enough credit for being great in the ring. Like, look, you know what okay, nobody in the WWE I think is really bad.
Yeah.
Everyone can have the potential to put on a good match.
Yeah. This match ends when Cesaro is about to start uppercutting Sheamus, but the ref gets in the way, and Sheamus accidentally knocks the ref.
Yeah.
And then Cesaro rolls Sheamus up for the win.
Yeah, so Cesaro's won 2 matches in a row, right?
Yeah. And Sheamus is livid.
Yeah.
He is very upset about this.
But it's just like, why are we going back on our word of one of them getting a title shot, right? Well, I guess they said, if you impress us. That was their wording. It wasn't the winner.
Right.
The wording when they originally made it was like, oh, and if one of you impresses us enough, you'll get a title shot.
Well, yeah, but Foley said that Cesaro gets that shot.
Oh, really? Like he actually... Oh, okay.
On the last episode, yeah. So this is just them fighting again.
Okay.
Dudley Boys versus Neville and a partner of his choosing.
Yeah.
I don't know why that has to be a secret, but it's Sin Cara.
Yep.
And it's fine. And obviously Neville wins with a red arrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were playing up dissension among the Dudleys, too.
Yeah, Bubba
Like
looks
this is-
angrily at Devon.
Yeah.
Because Devon eats the pin, I think?
Eats the pin, yeah. So, I mean, that was their, I guess, the storyline leading up to their retirement, or how they wanted to go out, so.
Rusev and Lana, a celebration of love.
Yeah. I actually really like this. I love cheesy, dumb shit like this.
Yeah, so this is that Rusev and Lana got married for real.
Yeah.
And now they had the real wedding, but now they're going to have a celebration of love so that the WWE Universe can share their love with a celebration of their wedding. The ring is all done up in like red and white, and there's cakes on the table in the ring. That'll go great, I'm sure. And they come out. Rusev has a vest.
Yeah.
Is he wearing a sleeve? Is he just wearing a vest? I can't remember.
I think he's just wearing a vest.
Yeah.
I think.
And Lana has a ridiculous wedding dress.
Yeah.
Byron and Graves are just bickering about who was and was not invited to the wedding.
Oh, yeah.
And Cole just lets them argue.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
There's a video package that shows photos of the wedding day.
Yeah.
The crowd says that it's boring. And Rusev says that he's sorry that's all the pictures that they have. They apparently rented a private beach for the wedding.
Yeah. I actually saw some.
Unlike everyone in America that can't afford to rent a 1-bedroom apartment, let alone a beach.
Yeah. I actually saw some of the pictures from that wedding, and Ryback was there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think he was one of the groomsmen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Rusev says the cakes on the table cost more than anybody makes in a month.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns hits and actually gets a bit of a pop.
Yeah, he does.
And then it turns a little bit. I think that people were just like, yes, something's going to come and break up the wedding. Yay! Oh, it's Roman.
This was the most pro-Roman crowd I've heard in a long time.
Yeah.
Though. Like, they were actually behind him.
Yeah.
Good for you, Roman. Like, I know you fucked up, but you work hard.
Reigns says he noticed that Rusev... Oh, right. Did you see when they were walking to the ring and the Titantron is just this massive slow motion shot of a bottle of champagne opening up?
Yeah.
It was not suggestive at all. So Roman gets in the ring and starts pouring champagne. Because he's like, hey, I noticed from those pictures you didn't have a best man. So I got to step up and I will be your best man. Because you didn't have one. Obviously you didn't have anybody to ask. So don't worry. I got you covered. He's like pouring three things of champagne. And he's like, so, it's time for a toast. And Rusev and Lana are like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And so Reigns just goes like, all right, and slams his flute of champagne. and says, well, if you don't want to accept my toast, maybe you'll accept my challenge for your title at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Before getting an answer, he thanks them because he's never had the opportunity to see a marriage between a Bulgarian Sasquatch and a mail-order bride.
Damn, yeah. That was pretty good. Look, he looked really comfortable in this segment. Like,
did.
Roman, this bumping down from the main event, maybe all this pressure's off him, and he just looked like he was having a lot of fun. I actually really liked it. It started a little bit of a brawl.
Yeah, Lana starts screaming at him.
Yeah.
Reigns pushes Rusev, who knocks into Lana, who falls face first into a cake, obviously, and she flips out. Because it looks kind of gruesome because it's like there's like raspberry
red.
filling or something.
Yeah.
So she like pulls her head back up and her face is just red with like weird cake gore. Anyway,
Yeah.
Lana it goes to break and comes back, and then Lana's backstage still covered in cake, screaming at Mick, and they're screaming at Mick Foley to do something about it. And he's like, well, "How about you do something about it at SummerSlam when you defend the title against Roman Reigns?" Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So like, all right. Sasha Banks versus Dana Brooke.
Yep.
If Sasha wins, Brooke is banned from ringside at SummerSlam. If Sasha loses, it will be a handicap match at SummerSlam. Charlotte immediately starts getting involved with shenanigans, obviously. And Charlotte accidentally slaps Dana, but it like there was the timing was off.
Yeah.
Like it looked really awkward. Like it was obviously meant to be like Charlotte missing and hitting Dana, and then that can lead to the pin. But it was like, what are we doing? Oh no.
Yeah.
And so Sasha knocks Charlotte down and gives Dana the double knees for the...
Yeah, double knees in the corner for the win. So Dana Brooke is effectively banned from ringside at SummerSlam.
Finn Balor with a video package basically explaining who he is and what he's about.
Yeah.
And I think this is sweet.
Yeah.
He's talking about creatures of Irish folklore, like the Banshee or the Doulahan. The Doulahan are knights that they carry their head.
Oh yeah.
They show up in all the Castlevania games.
Yeah.
And he starts talking about his name because you remember Rollins was like, his name is even Finn, like Finn Balor. Finn means great warrior and Balor means demon king.
Yeah.
But what Finn explains is that those are specific people. Finn is Finn McCool, who is a figure of Irish folk legend. There's too much to actually get into with Finn McCool. He's basically like an Irish Hercules. Like he has a bunch of there was a bunch of feats that he did basically, and in some interpretations he's a giant.
Okay.
Anyway, and then Balor is the Demon King. Not just Balor means Demon King.
Yeah.
Balor is the name of a Demon King.
Yeah.
With one eye. Which I never realized. That's why when he does the Demon King paint, he has the eye on his back.
Yeah.
So when the tales are that when Balor opens his eye, the seas will burn or what? It'll be like the apocalypse or whatever.
Yeah.
And so this is
Well, even on like his Titantron, I think it's like the O or the R of his name has like the one eye. It's always kind of like looking around and blinking and stuff.
yeah, exactly. So basically, that Rollins has no idea what he's going to be facing at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Is basically what
They're really marketing
Balor's
this
saying.
demon thing.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously super marketable.
Yeah.
Kids would love it.
Now, if you've watched him in NXT, you will have seen this before, but
Yeah.
the main roster, this is still a surprise, and it'll be revealed what exactly the nature of the Demon King is at SummerSlam, or the Raw prior, if they just decide to give it away on the Raw
I was
prior.
super fucking mad that they did that.
No shit!
Yeah, I know, right?
So was I. I'm
Yeah.
like, with the whole build-up, fuck it, whatever. Anyway.
Because like the way they sold it in NXT was that the demon, they didn't even call it the Demon King. They just called it the demon.
Yeah.
So I'm still not sold on Demon King. It sounds more lame every time they say it.
Yeah.
But I love Finn, so it's okay. I'll forgive it. But the demon was like all of the thoughts that we have that we never really like give credence to, like all these dark, bad, kind of like violent thoughts. Or the way I kind of thought of it was that when Finn can't get the job done,
Yeah, exactly.
or when he is really on the ropes, he brings out the demon.
Yeah.
Because he knows that the demon will be like his fail-safe, right?
Yeah.
Because he did only lose once ever as the Demon. That was against Samoa Joe in a steel cage match at TakeOver Dallas. Yeah,
I think, yeah.
TakeOver Dallas.
And doesn't the Demon, when Finn's wrestling as the Demon, doesn't he have a slightly different moveset too?
No.
Okay.
He doesn't, but he should.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
when I think it'd be sweet if he like was, I don't know, change something. You know what I mean? It does. Maybe I'm missing something. Someone will probably point it out. I mean, if you notice that I'm wrong and there's stuff I haven't noticed, but it looks essentially like it's just Finn Balor with face paint. But the concept of it's super cool.
Now we have a video from doctors Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows.
I like this.
I like that he's not Doc Gallows, he's Dr. Gallows.
Yeah, but I love at the beginning when they're like, Doctor.
So they're talking about Big E's condition,
Yeah.
ring postitis.
Yeah.
And they hold up a jar with like pickling liquid and some eggs in it.
Yeah.
And they're like, you see the problem here. It's talking about how it's been making Big E very testy. And they have to run some more tests. They need more test subjects. So they're going to be collecting a sample from Kofi Kingston next so they can do more tests.
Yeah.
The result will make you balls your eyes out.
Okay. They had me for the beginning, and then they kind of lost me halfway through.
I am honestly impressed with with the sheer density of nut jokes.
Yeah.
And that they just
bang through them.
rattle them off really smoothly.
Yeah.
And without too much stress on the pun.
Yeah.
They're
apparently are two very funny guys.
yeah, like they don't linger on the pun waiting for the laugh.
Yeah.
They just barrel through it.
They don't go like, and he's getting testy.
Yeah. They're just like it's very testy. Like we're feeling, what was it? I can't remember it all. There's so many of them.
We recently completed emergency surgery on the New Day's Big E, the results of which were nuts.
It kind of makes you want to bawl your eyes out, doesn't it, Doctor?
It does make me a little bit testy.
So it's Kofi versus Luke Gallows with Xavier and Anderson at ringside. They try to... Luke Gallows wins the match.
Yeah.
Fine. They try to give Kingston ring postitis, but Xavier chases them off with a steel chair.
Yeah. I really I'm being super biased, and when I look at this feud, or when I was watching it, I was trying to find really hard to find the good in it, because I like both teams, but I think they deserved a lot better than just the nut-centered feud.
The nut center.
The nougat.
Our video from earlier in the day of Goldust in the parking lot bumping into Scooby-Doo.
Oh, yeah.
Because the WWE has a movie with Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And Truth is jealous that he's not in the movie and gets into a fight with Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. Goldust diffuses the situation by suggesting that they all go watch the WWE Scooby-Doo movie together and eat some snacks. Yeah. All right. Sure.
Mick Foley's in the ring.
Okay.
Describes the wedding as fresh. Don't know why.
Yeah.
And he says that he's always followed the philosophy of an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, an ear for an ear.
Yeah.
As Mick Foley famously had his tooth come out and then his ear get torn off in the ring.
So his tooth actually, he got it knocked out and it was in his nose.
Yeah.
Hell in a Cell 98 or 97, one of those.
And then he says, in retrospect, that might be archaic. So that's why he's invited Daniel Bryan here to clear the air about the Brock Lesnar Randy
The
Orton.
RK Oklahoma? Every time now that you've said that,
That's the one.
Every time I think about that, I just want Randy Orton to be wearing a pair of guns, yeah! Every time he hits an RKO, he's like...
He could dress up like McCree.
Yeah!
It'd be great.
You'd be like, it's high noon. And he'd be slowly walking to the ring, and everyone would be trying to hide, line of sight him, because you knew that if you pulled the trigger, it'd be game over.
Basically exchange pleasantries.
Yeah. They actually show a video from the Talking Smack show, which is a talk show after SmackDown happens.
Yeah.
And Brian pretty much shitting all over the Universal title.
He's like, why not just call it the Milky Way Championship? Why does he just make stuff up? Why not?
There's a great mock. They did I saw a picture on Twitter, and it was like Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon, and they did a mock-up of the Universal title, which was just a belt and like a big tinfoil U like tied to it. It was pretty funny.
And so yeah, then it sort of turns a little bit because Foley's like, well, if why you literally talking smack behind my back?
Yeah,
this title's not a joke, and they don't really address the. I mean, Brian says he's sorry about Randy Orton, but like that's it.
Yeah,
it's mostly just about Brian and Foley kind of getting at one another.
Don't you find it funny how they clearly stated, which I've noticed has bothered me a little bit, how they wanted to make the shows less about the general managers?
To be fair, SmackDown is.
Yeah.
Even though they wanted to make SmackDown less about general managers.
Yeah.
Even though Daniel Bryan is this SmackDown general manager, he's only really a going concern plot-wise on Raw.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny.
It's kind of weird.
And guess who comes down? Rusev.
Yeah.
Dressed to fight. And is like, I don't know why you guys are bothering bickering about this Universal Championship. Raw has a champion, and it's me.
Yeah.
And I'm the best. Cesaro comes out, and he says like, yeah, Rusev, you're having a really bad night. And Brian intercuts that Cesaro is being really underutilized on Raw.
Yeah.
And there's a big yes chant. And Foley says that Roman Reigns gets his shot at SummerSlam against Rusev, but Cesaro can get his shot tonight.
Yeah.
So this is actually the title shot.
Okay.
That's what it was. I had forgotten that this was happening.
Yeah.
And that's right now. And Rusev is really upset about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's Rusev defending against Cesaro for the U.S. Championship.
Yeah.
Guess who shows up?
Who would show up?
Big Boss Man. He's dead.
Yeah.
DDP.
Randy Orton.
No, it's Sheamus.
It's Sheamus.
Sheamus runs down to try to get in the way.
Yeah. Rusev pokes a thumb in Cesaro's eye, and then Sheamus kicks him. Does a bro kick, I think.
Yeah.
And Rusev gets the pin.
Sheamus is really, really happy about it. Rusev turns, and then, like, this is, again, like Charlotte and Dana earlier. This is, he turns a little too soon and then has to sort of stand there for a sec until Roman Reigns comes out of nowhere and spears him.
Yeah.
And then Reigns walks off as his music plays. And that's actually the end of the show.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Huh. Okay. Well, I mean, like, when Raw only has one title, right?
Yeah.
Well, I guess 2 tag titles count. But it's nice seeing the the United States title getting a little bit of love.
Yeah, because I was technically the main event there.
Yeah.
Raw for August 15th. This is the go-home show for SummerSlam.
Yeah. I love how
the go-home Raw for SummerSlam.
I love
now that SmackDown is
I didn't
live.
mention it before, but I love how they show what happened the week before. They didn't do that before, did they?
Last week on Monday Night Raw.
I'm trying to remember.
Not to this extent.
Not to this extent. They're like, hey, last week on Dragon Ball Z, Rusev got real mad and punched Vegeta in the mouth.
So there's a plot to this episode, which is Seth Rollins trying to find the Demon King.
Yeah.
Which I did not like.
I didn't like it either.
He's like walking around the arena being like, hello, Demon King. Come out, wherever you are.
You know what it did remind me of? Old storylines with The Undertaker. Where they try to find him.
Yeah.
Where there was a storyline, I don't know if you watched wrestling during this time, but there was a fake Undertaker.
Oh, yeah.
And they would go through, they would have people like in urban settings and stuff, like in the public, saying they saw him. I was like, oh yeah, I saw him at a donut shop. And there was they'd have Undertaker sightings, like vignettes. It was pretty great.
I kind of like that.
For the 90s, like.
I mean, it doesn't help that like we don't know what the Demon King looks like.
Yeah.
Unless you watch NXT.
Yeah.
So we don't. There's no mystique yet, and that Reigns is just, or that Reigns and Rollins. Those names mess me up. And that Rollins is just like, I'm gonna find the Demon King. Yeah. Where's the Demon King? Like
not taking it seriously, kind of like.
Finn has been like, this is me, and I'm the Demon King, and you'll see. Why doesn't he just go to the locker room and find Finn? And it's not like the Demon King apparates as a different being and just skulks around the arena.
He's eating like a bucket of worms. So we're hanging out with them.
So yeah, we see this like clip from earlier today of Rollins looking around for him.
Yeah.
And then we go into the arena where Rusev and Lana are like in medias res yelling at people.
Yeah.
Because they're in the ring. This is in Corpus Christi, which is apparently notoriously a bad crowd, I am told.
Really?
Apparently. And they're occupying Raw.
Yeah.
They're like, we won't leave the ring until what do they actually want?
They want Reigns to come out.
They're yelling. They're saying that Mick Foley is a terrible general manager, right? Because Foley comes out and is like, "Get out of the ring," and they're like, "No, you're a terrible general manager. We're not going to leave until we get what we want. We want Reigns to come out."
Yeah, and then Steph comes out, and she's like, "Don't disrespect him." Is like, "Hey, we'll call Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. We'll go to SmackDown. See how much you like it." You know what I mean? I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you can't threaten us.
Yeah. Oh, I just like that Steph comes out and they're like, "Oh, good, Steph. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what's up." And she's like, "Are you talking shit about Mick Foley? Don't do that." So yeah, Stephanie calls the behavior completely unacceptable. It says that Rusev demands respect but won't show any to a guy like Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Reigns comes out and is like, "If all you want is an apology, then sure. I'm sorry. I apologize for Rusev going on the website where he got Lana."
It always comes across as like the, looks like you're back in a couple tater tots.
Oh God!
But every time he delivers a line like that, you know, look, I'm sorry that you checked that website where you found your wife. Bam! Oh, we got him. You know?
Yeah. Anyway, Reigns is like, "Yeah, I know we're scheduled for SummerSlam, but I don't feel like waiting, so
Let's do it tonight.
let's do it right now."
Yeah.
And Steph's like, no. That match will still take place at SummerSlam, but if Rusev wants to defend his wife's honor, then they can have a match tonight.
Yeah.
So even though Rusev and Reigns are going to fight one-on-one at SummerSlam
In 6 days.
in 6 days for the title, they're going to fight tonight for Lana's honor.
Yeah. Womp womp.
If Reigns wins, does he get Lana? Is that how this works?
I guess so.
Is this like
yeah.
a prima nocta situation? Is he like, "I win, yoink"? Like what? It's
like trial by combat.
so stupid. I'm sorry.
It is dumb though.
I did not like this episode overall, by the way.
Yeah. I should have, warning signs should have gone off, spoiler, for the SummerSlam match.
Yeah.
Like it should have, that they were giving this away for free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I didn't think about that.
But that's where I should have been like, well, why the fuck are they? So obviously something's happening on Sunday,
Right.
right? Like,
I didn't think about that.
yeah, you have to think about these things when you watch wrestling. Like, if they give away, so if they give away something like Roman Reigns and Rusev are fighting each other in 6 days for the United States title,
Yeah.
and then they say, oh, you guys can fight in the main event on Raw. And then you watch, and you know, we'll get to it, but what happens in that, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why give that away? Doesn't make any sense.
Byron's in the ring talking with Sheamus.
Yeah.
Because Sheamus is about to have a match with Sami Zayn. Mm-hmm. And Sheamus says that over the last couple of weeks, he's proved that he's a dominant athlete, and Sami Zayn likes to hide behind his Twitter.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So Sheamus showed that he was a dominant athlete
by losing
twice to Cesaro,
and
then
interfering
Cesaro his match against Rusev.
He's a heel, so
yeah, I guess
he
so.
thinks he's better than he is.
Yeah. All right, sure.
I like Zayn at the beginning of the match hurled his shirt at Sheamus.
Yeah.
And Sheamus is like, stop it. The referee breaks it up to start.
Sheamus actually
the
calls
match.
Sami a cheap knockoff of himself.
Why? Because
They're both
red hair?
redheads. Yeah, because they're both redheads.
It's a pretty low bar.
Yeah. It's pretty low.
Yeah. All right.
Sure. It's a match.
Oh, yeah, right. Cesaro's on commentary.
Oh, right.
And he leaves the commentary table and distracts Sheamus, which allows Zayn to connect with the haluva kick.
Yeah.
And so Sami Zayn wins. After the match, Sheamus continues to be very angry and staring at Cesaro.
Yeah.
Kevin Owens is talking about facing Big Cass tonight. Jericho talks about being in his corner.
Yeah.
And Owens jokes that Cass doesn't know how to spell.
Yeah.
because SAWFT.
Yeah.
Elsewhere backstage, Mick Foley breaks up Sheamus and Cesaro arguing backstage, and Foley said he questioned them both last week and announces that they are going to settle their differences with a, God damn it, a best of 7 series, with the first match being at SummerSlam.
Fuck.
Even though Cesaro's already
Beat him twice?
beat him twice.
Should be up 2-0.
Clean. He should be.
All right. What's on the line?
Nothing.
Pride, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what the best of 7 series was?
What?
Chris Benoit, Booker T, WCW. They did a best of 7 series for the TV title, and it's awesome. I don't know if you can how easy it is to find on the network because they don't tag Benoit in anything.
They'll tag Booker T.
But I think no, because they won't. Booker T, you won't find it. You'll have to look up because I don't think you can just search Chris Benoit, right?
Think you can now?
Can now?
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
But I can't remember all the dates that they happened, but they were awesome. You should go watch all of them. They're great. I think there was another, wasn't there a best of 7 series between like Matt Hardy and MVP or something?
Oh, yeah, but not matches.
They were just like competitions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a football throw or like a dunk contest. That was sweet, by the way.
Was it? Okay.
I really enjoyed MVP, but the MVP Matt Hardy feud was actually really good.
Okay.
Dudley Boys versus The New Day. Prior to the match, we get another ring postitis video from Doctors Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson.
Doctor.
And more puns all around. This is a very quick match. And and New Day wins.
Play up the miscommunication. There's a miscommunication from the Dudleys.
Yeah.
And it cost them the match. So, I mean, I thought I was like, they're really going to break up the Dudleys? At this point, they're like, you know what I mean? I guess because Bubba Ray had an incredible run in TNA as Bully Ray.
Yeah.
I saw some of it, not all of it, but
it was good.
It was good, yeah. And everyone sings praises about it all the time. So I was like, are they going to just go with Bully Ray?
Well,
like,
and apparently Devon didn't really plan to return to a full-time schedule anyway.
It's tough, man.
So yeah,
especially when you've put in as many miles as the Dudleys.
Oh yeah. After the match, there's another video from Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah.
Kofi, they're actually just talking from backstage. It looks like pre-recorded, but they're actually just talking from backstage. So it's live, even though they're on a green screen.
Yeah.
And Kofi's like, "Yo, Big E is actually hurt. Can you guys not?"
Yeah.
And Woods says that he's like, "Yo, I know that you guys weren't around last year, but SummerSlam is where we won these titles, and we don't plan on losing them there either." So, they have a match at SummerSlam for the tag titles.
Yeah, they haven't really.
I guess I should mention that.
Did they ever announce it, like officially?
I don't know. I guess it would have been announced here, and I just didn't write it down.
Yeah.
They're having the club versus the New Day at SummerSlam for the titles.
I find it weird calling them the club without AJ.
Yeah. But they were the club even before AJ, remember? In WWE, they were the club, and then AJ joined the club, and then AJ left the club because he got drafted to SmackDown.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I was thinking, how great would it be if Seth Rollins became... Because he's always done well with, like, henchmen, right? Like a new Mercury and Noble. Rollins is the kind of heel that I think
Mercury and Noble, but could actually, wrestle.
But can actually wrestle.
Not that Mercury and Noble both
can't wrestle, but they're both, kind of injured, right? Like, that's why they had to retire. Because, and then, didn't Brock Lesnar, break Mercury's ribs or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. But I think that he would really do well with, those two. And it would... I feel like Gallows and Anderson aren't getting the heat that they think they can get, like the heel heat.
Yeah.
And I think pairing them up with someone like Rollins, who is he does get a lot of cheers, but he still gets a lot of boos. He's still very good at being a heel. Anyway.
Seth Rollins is looking for Finn Balor more backstage, and he comes across Neville, who also is a former NXT champion.
Yeah.
And Neville's like, "Yo, look, man, you left NXT before he showed up. You haven't been in the ring with the Demon. I have. And you are not ready."
Yeah. Awesome.
And Rollins is like, this is the first time that Rollins has actually looked even a little concerned.
Yeah.
Which I think is good. Nia Jax versus Rachel Levy, Levy. Byron asks her what her deal is and how she thinks she can beat Nia Jax. And she's like, "Well, I've watched a lot of the Olympics,
Oh yeah, this chick. Yeah.
And, you know, if the athletes could go America,
Yeah.
if they can go for the gold, then so can I, and USA.
I'm gonna win despite how small I am.
Ding, 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 wham.
Yeah.
Toast.
We're like ding, 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 and the garburator noise.
Stuck in the... Get like this stick.
Yeah.
So Nia Jax wins.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar comes out.
Do you think they're leading to a Nia Jax Braun Strowman match? You know what I mean? Like, they're both just cruising through two battleship, the Iceberg and the Titanic, heading straight towards each other, dominating jobber after jobber until the unstoppable force meets the immovable object.
Oh, wow.
WrestleMania 33 live from Orlando. Braun Strowman versus Nia Jax.
The match is called a no contest because they just start fucking.
Death by Stu Stu.
They're just like, wait, we're perfect for each other. All right, Brock Lesnar's back. I love this bit.
Yeah.
Brock comes back.
Oh yeah.
Comes back out. Huge cheers for Brock. Heyman's there. He goes to introduce himself, and Heath Slater's music hits.
Yeah, this is great.
Heath Slater, by the way, has been on, we'll talk about it in a sec, he's been on Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah.
Jumping back and forth. He's the only person done this, being like, hire me.
Yeah.
One of you, please hire me.
Basically on SmackDown, they were making him jump through hoops. They're like, okay, well, if you can win this match. Well, the same thing they did on Raw, like with Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
Thing. It was like, you can win this match, and he would just continually lose.
Yeah, and so Heyman's like, why would we care about you? Why would any of these people care about you? And starts laughing, and Slater's like, all right, laugh it up. Look, I've been given an opportunity to get a Raw contract and an appearance at SummerSlam if I can beat Brock Lesnar. So I'm asking you permission to fight your client. And Heyman's like, are you... what?
Yeah.
Are you nuts?
Yeah.
And they is like, you just go away. Anyway, everyone, my client, Brock Lesnar, SummerSlam, Randy Orton, and Slater's like, hey! And he like gets up on the apron, he's like yelling, he's like, hey, don't disrespect me. Look, I need this. I have kids to feed.
Yeah.
I love this. My 2 little girls and all the other kids I have. They're relying on daddy. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't want to face Lesnar, but I have to.
Yeah.
And Heyman's like, I am trying to save your ass right now.
Yeah, dude.
Come on.
Heath Slater is making me a fan.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I thought, like, Social Outcast, I like the group.
Yeah.
More, but I'm just seeing like I just want to see Heath succeed after
Yeah.
watching all this Raw and SmackDown, and then
Well, he's like I've seen from interviews from Heath Slater, he knows his position, right?
Yeah.
He's like, look, they need enhancement talent, they need the low card. I just want to entertain people.
Yeah.
Right? And that's all I want to do.
oh, good for him.
Yeah, and he's good at it. And I love this. I didn't realize this was actually his idea, but there was a series a couple of years ago where it was like building up to WrestleMania, where or it was a Raw anniversary. It was like the 1,000th episode of Raw or something, and every week he would get his ass kicked by a different legend.
Yeah.
And apparently that was him. He was like, you got to be quick with your with your pitches to Vince. But I went to Vince and I was like, hey Vince, you know how Randy Orton was the legend killer? You know that thing? How about we do that for me, but in reverse, where I just fight a different legend every week and lose? And Vince was like, oh, I love the idea. Great, go for it. And so that's how that happened.
Yeah.
And
That's awesome.
yeah, and so. Yeah, so he's like, look, I don't want to have to fight you. Lesnar grabs the mic from Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
And he's like, I get it, man. I get it. You got kids to feed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I got kids too. I completely understand. Then he walks right up to Heath Slater. I don't give a shit about your kids.
Yeah, it's awesome. Dude, they're letting Brock swear so much.
Yeah.
Like in all of these, there was these pre-tape promos for the Orton Lesnar match, and Brock is dropping F-bombs and S-bombs and everything. They're bleeping them out, but it made him come across as more of a badass.
Yeah. Lesnar's like, look, you got 2 choices. You can walk out on your own 2 feet, or you can stand there and keep pissing me off.
Yeah.
And then he just chucks the mic down. And then Slater's like, well, and he tries to attack Lesnar, and it does not work.
No.
Lesnar instantly demolishes him with a suplex and an F5, and then kicks him out of the ring. And Heyman's like, well, credit to you for trying. Anyway, Randy Orton. And then they start talking about Randy Orton some more.
Yeah.
And, it's like, I'm supposed to hype the match up. And I love Paul Heyman so good at this. He's like, they want me to come out here and build up the match for SummerSlam and tell you that why you should go watch SummerSlam, that it'll be such a great match, that Randy Orton is 1 RKO away from beating Brock Lesnar. That's not going to happen. Brock's going to get in the ring and absolutely destroy Randy Orton, and that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So if you think that's entertaining, if you want to see this guy completely dismantle Randy Orton, then that's what's going to happen at SummerSlam.
That's awesome.
But it's not going to be a match.
Yeah.
And so you get you have the chance to see a once ever athlete in action in an official match with an official result that will go down in the history books. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Paul Heyman's still the best. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Carl's Jr. and Hardy's present.
The Demon King.
That would be funny. No, it's a Big Cass versus Kevin Owens.
I'm just picturing
Subway.
the Demon King with that Burger King crown on. You know? Look, man, we got to get our advertising.
Oh, no. Enzo cuts a promo about they're going to have a barbecue at SummerSlam with 2 pieces of Canadian bacon, Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Jericho attacks Cass at ringside, and then the referee calls for the bell.
That's pretty much it.
It's a very quick match. Big Cass wins by DQ.
Yeah.
After the match, they toss Cass onto the barricade. Owens super kicks him, and then Jericho hits him with a code breaker, and then Owens yells, "You're not so big now, are you?"
Yeah.
And so that's the build-up for their match. Backstage, Roman says he's going to represent his bloodline, which I guess is still a going concern, and whoop Rusev's ass.
That's the dumbest sentence.
I'm going to represent my bloodline. So is everyone. He said he's ready for anything. Rusev attacks him. Reigns fights back. Rusev whips him into a door, and then it throws him over a catering table, and officials break it up.
Yeah.
The primetime players music hits.
Yeah. Make a move, make a move. That's the
Yeah.
primetime.
And it's the primetime players with Bob Backlund versus the Shining Stars. And we see footage from earlier tonight, and Titus is like, hey man, how about one night only? We, primetime players. Remember we were
tag
champions.
team jams.
Yeah, let's just not for real, but for one night only. And Darren's like, all right, yeah, sure, man, that sounds great. Why? Why would Darren do this?
I don't know, man.
Darren, you're an idiot.
Makes
Why would you do
no fucking
this?
sense. This is why. What the fuck was the point of this?
Yeah. So Titus hits the Clash of the Titus on Darren Young in the ring.
Yeah.
And Backlund yells at him.
Dude, I don't know if have you watched Raw this week?
No.
There is the most awkward promo by Titus O'Neil.
I think I heard about it.
Yeah.
And so Primo hooks Young's leg and gets the victory. So the Shining Stars' victory isn't even their victory.
Doesn't matter, still counts.
Still counts.
Doesn't matter, still had sex.
Yeah. Jinder Mahal with a match against Neville.
Oh,
He
he's
did have a
here!
match.
Yeah. Okay,
have a match, yeah.
Okay.
Neville wins, but
With the red arrow.
yeah, but
I don't even know anything about Jinder Mahal.
yeah. Well, I hope is a different character from last time, because the character last time was like the Great Khali's brother.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a rough gimmick. Yeah, I don't think he has a character yet, really.
Okay.
Anyway,
Look, that was it? He's like, oh, here's my brother, he's big.
he accompanied him to the ring, and
Did he wrestle?
yeah, he wrestled a bit.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Mick Foley, backstage with Stephanie, reveals that Jon Stewart will be a special guest at SummerSlam again. Sure. For the success of last time.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins walks in and he's like, I've been trying to find the Demon King.
Fuck. Yeah.
And Foley's like, just go to the ring and call him out. Unless you're scared. And Rollins is like, I'm not scared. I will do that. So Rollins goes out and he calls out the Demon King. And the Demon King shows up. You and I are talking about this. The Demon King's like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
you're building it up. It's like this SummerSlam is this spectacle that Rollins won't have seen and won't be ready for.
Yeah.
And then it's like, also it looks exactly like this. I just think from a theatrical perspective, from a narrative perspective, showing it on the Raw before SmackDown, when you've been building it up as this thing that Rollins isn't prepared for,
Yeah.
is like,
It's kind of like watching a horror movie and they just show the monster like 5 minutes in.
yeah.
Like, oh, there it is. They handled it piss poorly, but I mean, it is what it is, right? I mean, there's no changing it now.
Also, a fan jumps in the ring
Oh, right.
at this point. It's like, is that the Demon King? Nope, that guy's getting his ass kicked by security. All right.
The fans loved it, though. I mean,
Yeah.
the crowd was into it.
Yeah.
I just been watching. I'm like, it feels weird.
Like
just
there was
see
a
it.
holy shit chant.
Yeah, it was like a week build-up. 1 week, like basically from last week to this week, right?
Yeah.
Which should have been something. I don't know. Do you think we're being too picky?
Oh, I think it was a theatrical misstep to give away the Demon King before SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. Like, I get the idea.
You know what
that
I would have
like
liked
they
is-
want to show it so that people are like, oh, I want to see that at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But I think it would have been cooler to be like, what could it be?
I understand that they need to like make money and stuff because it's a merchandising thing, right?
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen Finn Balor just go as Finn Balor for SummerSlam and then lose, and then maybe lose again, and then finally be like, all right,
Yeah.
Okay.
It might have been a bit quick
yeah,
on the main roster to bust
Yeah.
out the Demon.
Demon King.
Yeah.
But I would have. I mean, but do we live in an age of wrestling where we can get away with that, where people will be patient enough to wait? I want to say yes.
I think so. and
That's
think-
what I mean. Like people
I
are
think
so
that's
quick to
what the
explain.
WWE hasn't adapted to yet, right? Like, look at. I was talking with my friends on the weekend. Look at Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
and I hesitate to say that because it's like if you were talking to Vince, be like, no, Vince, look how Game of Thrones does. They'd be like, great, well, okay, we'll do Game of Thrones. Like, no, don't try to do Game of Thrones. 'Cause
Next week, Raws is everyone's dressed
can't-
as knights.
You
and
can't do it as well as they can.
Yeah.
But wrestling has these unique storytelling opportunities, and stuff like the Marvel Universe or Game of Thrones proves that today's media audiences will go on a longer
journey.
storytelling journey.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that they could have
Okay. I think that's
done
just
a
like.
slow burn on the Demon.
I think it's an excuse. People. I just hate that excuse where people are like, oh, nobody's gonna have the patience to wait around for that. It's like, no, but I mean, like, you've just
But they
proven
will.
the point. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, we're okay with a slow burn. And
Yeah.
I mean, wishful thinking, it's over now. There's no changing it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying, for me personally, and I'm assuming even, like, for you, like, we would have rather have had, like, that's why I'm worried about, spoiler for Bailey, because she got called up this week to the main roster. And they've kind of just thrust her right at Charlotte.
Yeah.
And the whole beauty of Bailey was this journey through NXT and how she couldn't win the big one. It was the same thing with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn couldn't win the big one.
Yeah.
And I mean, they've done a brilliant job with Sami Zayn this time, or even on the main roster, I think.
Yeah.
Like, it's been that thing, you know, where people don't want to watch someone just come in and succeed right away, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, Finn got away with it, which, I mean, opens up a whole nother can of worms, because people are like, okay, well, how come Roman Reigns can't get away with it? You know what I mean? Because the same thing would happen with Finn Balor. It's like, oh, he came in, beat Roman Reigns on his first night in, then wins the Universal title at SummerSlam, and people say, like, okay, well, why can't Roman get away with it? And I was like, I don't know. This is different. I can't explain it
Way
to you.
different circumstances.
Yeah. But anyway, I digress. I'm sorry. That was a bit of a tangent.
What? Oh yeah. So they fight.
They fight, yeah.
Yeah.
Finn goes for the coup de grace. Rollins rolls out of the ring. Finn does a suicide dive outside.
Yeah.
And frustrated Rollins looks on.
Yeah. Golden Truth versus Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah. Doctors.
Doctors. Gallows and Anderson win.
Yeah.
Let's just cut to the chase there.
Pretty much.
Kingston and Woods rush the ring and attack Gallows and Anderson after the match.
Woods tries to nail him with Francesca, but he misses.
Yeah. And then Gallows and Anderson run away.
Yeah.
Backstage, Dana Brooke apologizes to Charlotte. Charlotte says Dana failed her when it mattered most.
Oof.
She says this is her spotlight and not Dana's. And Charlotte says that she is going to beat, she has a match with Alicia Fox next. And she says she's going to beat Alicia Fox by herself and then will win back her title at SummerSlam. And she says that Dana is replaceable. And she just might ask Stephanie McMahon to find someone better.
Damn.
Cold as ice.
Cold.
They warned you, Dana.
They did.
They came to the ring and they warned you. Yeah, Charlotte versus Alicia Fox. Charlotte does what she says.
I think this is our first Alicia Fox sighting?
In a while. It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlotte wins. Sasha's on commentary for the match, and so after the match, Charlotte and Sasha fight, and Charlotte gets Sasha in the figure 8. Sasha starts tapping out, but Charlotte won't break the hold until a referee breaks it up. Mm-hmm. And then the main event.
Roman Reigns versus Rusev.
For Lana's honor.
Yep.
It's never explained what that means.
Nope.
I guess it's just
It's a match.
Rusev has to...
It's actually a really good match.
It is. It is a good match. But
Roman
it's
Reigns...
just a weird go-home for
Yeah.
SmackDown. For the Raw before SummerSlam.
Yeah.
This is the problem with the brand split, is like you've got Lesnar and Randy
Like, you'd
Orton,
think
which
that-
isn't about a title, and
Yeah.
that happened earlier, and then you've got the title match, which is the Demon King thing. I would have thought the Demon King bit
been last, yeah.
with Reigns with Rollins and Balor would have been the end of the show. Mm-hmm. But then it's not really ending with a match. But
Since when does that matter?
and yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, Roman wins the match.
Yeah. Hits a spear, beats Rusev 100% clean.
Yeah.
Which makes you think... When he did that, I was like, well, Roman's not winning on Sunday.
Right.
Because that's just the nature of WWE booking.
Yeah, it'd be like,
It's
look at this guy. He can easily beat the other guy, so obviously he won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, something completely different happened,
We'll talk about later.
which we will talk about when we do SummerSlam. I'll run through SmackDown quickly.
So, yeah, these episodes of Raw, the first 2 I quite enjoyed.
yeah.
I really want him to. I want him to be a wrestler named Jim and Marvin Luter now.
Yeah.
But that last episode of Raw, I didn't enjoy that much. But I'm looking forward to. I'm in the position after that episode of looking forward to SummerSlam.
Yeah.
All right, let's knock out these SmackDowns.
Okay. These are going to be quick because
All right.
I am tired right now.
Yeah, same.
And my throat's hurting. Okay, we open up the week of, this would have been August 2nd.
Yeah.
We open up with Randy Orton, Shane McMahon, and Daniel Bryan backstage. Mm-hmm. They have a TV screen that shows the RKO out of nowhere.
Right, and they're like, Randy.
Hey, Randy. That's essentially what it was, like
Yeah.
you. And they said it was pretty awesome, but there's going to be repercussions later. And they have a bunch of security there.
That was rad, but don't do that.
Yeah, they have a bunch of security there.
Oh, in case Brock shows up.
Yeah. In case Brock shows up, and they wanted to have security with Randy as well. It was a nice touch. Shane and Daniel Bryan bump into Maurice and WWE Intercontinental Champion The Miz. Bryan makes Apollo Crews versus Kalisto versus Baron Corbin, and the winner will face The Miz at SummerSlam.
Right.
And they also run into Dean Ambrose. They're just kind of cycling
Meandering
through
backstage, yeah.
Ambrose says he's headed to the ring to address the number 1 contender, Dolph Ziggler, who won last week, or won the 6-pack challenge last week. And yeah, that's it. Ambrose comes out, and he pretty much just says oh, I really like the view at the top. It's all about staying here, and he's leading the blue brand, and he's here to stay. He talks about Dolph Ziggler, and he's kind of every kind of segment that they had together, Ambrose was super condescending.
Yeah.
Playing the super condescending kind of you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, in kayfabe is kind of true. The
Yeah.
way Dolph has wrestled, Dolph hasn't won much since that Survivor Series where he was the lone survivor.
Yeah.
He brings out Ziggler. Ziggler tells him that he's not a fan of Ambrose, but the two are pretty similar. Ambrose says Ziggler is all show and he's all go, which I thought was pretty cool.
Is this where Ziggler's like, look, man, I've worked my way up through this thing. I started as a male cheerleader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is the...
Nikki is canon. Nick Nemeth.
Because Dolph Ziggler started off in Spirit Squad, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a thing.
Well, actually, prior to that,
yeah.
he was Chavo's caddy when Chavo was doing the Kerwin White character.
What?
You didn't hear about? Okay,
No.
Chavo Guerrero
Yeah.
played a character called Kerwin White,
Yeah.
who was
His actual name was they changed his name to Kerwin White.
yeah.
Okay.
And the gimmick was that he was the whitest guy ever.
Okay.
Like, because now Chavo's Mexican.
Yeah.
And so the bit was that he was a Mexican guy with like bleach blonde hair and wore like polo shirts with sweaters tied around his neck.
Yeah.
He came to the ring in a golf cart, and he was like suburban white guy, kind of racist.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I guess it was like he was like whiteface, I guess.
Yeah.
Was kind of the bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had, because he was golfing, he had a caddy.
Yeah.
Which was played by Nick Nemeth, which was Dolph Ziggler.
Wow.
So that was his first gimmick.
Okay.
Then he joined Spirit Squad.
Yeah.
The Kerwin White bit got dropped after Eddie died.
Yeah.
Because they were like,
Okay.
Chavo, you can be Chavo
You
again.
can be Chavo again.
And then we'll bury you. Chavo, you're going to have a losing cruiserweight feud with Hornswoggle.
Jesus.
Yeah. Hornswoggle was the last cruiserweight champion.
Yeah. I bet you they're not going to bring that up.
No, probably not. Probably not. Anyway,
Have we mentioned Hornswoggle was
he's a little person. Who originally was introduced as the little bastard? What did JBL call him? The something bastard.
Jesus.
And then they're like, oh, we should give him an actual name, and JBL should really stop saying bastard on TV. So they called him Hornswoggle, and he was a leprechaun. And the anonymous Raw general manager, and Vince McMahon's illegitimate son.
That's a story for another time.
What if creative doesn't know where a storyline's going? What if they didn't even think of an ending before they started? I know. Hornswoggle. I feel bad
I'm
for
so
that
glad
guy.
I wasn't watching wrestling at that time.
No kidding.
How mad were you?
It was just... I wasn't mad. I was just disappointed. It was just so disappointing. It was just like, oh. You guys had no idea where you were going with this, did you? Sorry, SmackDown.
That's okay. SmackDown, Dean. Basically,
I'm running out of steam.
Dean and Dolph were trading promos.
It's good.
And then Dean leaves Ziggler standing in the ring, and cut to black. Bray Wyatt's out. Woo! He lays Ziggler out with a Sister Abigail, and Wyatt basically says, like, Ziggler, you don't deserve the chance to call yourself champion.
Right.
Wyatt says that Ziggler stole something from him and he wants it back. And Wyatt makes a challenge and says, face him tonight, and if he wins, he's the new #1 contender. And face him tonight, and if Ziggler wins, he'll prove that you're #1. But if you lose, I get your #1 contender match.
As Ziggler accepts, I assume.
Yeah.
Has Eric Rowan been hanging around with Bray?
Yes.
Okay.
They actually tease at a breakup later on, a couple weeks from now.
Interesting.
What else we got? We get a short clip of them checking for Lesnar, basically.
Right.
Like looking under beds and benches and stuff. Yeah.
Lesnar.
Yeah. Where are you? And then we get the #1 contender triple threat. Apollo Crews wins, which was surprising. Actually, well, I guess I wasn't hoping that.
Baron Corbin?
Yeah, but then now that when I thought about it, I was like, well, they're not really going to put Corbin against The Miz, right?
Right.
But this is just to feud the Corbin-Kalisto feud, which we all kind of forgot about. I forgot about it. And I was like, oh, right, Kalisto and... Excuse me. But anyway, Apollo Crews is your #1 contender.
Cool.
We get Eva Marie versus Becky Lynch, which is basically this storyline with Eva Marie now is that she goes to her match and then something happens and she
we talked
can't
about
compete.
this last episode.
We talked about it last week.
She jumps up in the turnbuckle and goes, yay, and then jumps down and goes, oh, I tweaked my knee.
Yeah.
And then runs off to Twitter and goes, #pray for
this
Eva.
this is the leg injury angle.
Yeah.
We have talked about a lot of wrestling. Oh, we got American Alpha debuting.
Hey.
Yep, they are great and they're a lot of fun. Chad Gable is a former Olympian.
It's Chad Gable and
Jason Jordan.
Jason Jordan.
Yeah.
See, Jordan's name isn't part of the catchphrase.
The Ready, Willing, Gable.
Ready, Willing, and Gable.
Yeah. I wonder how Jordan feels about that. Deep down.
Can it be Jordan, Ready, and Gable? Jordan, Willing, and Gable?
No, it doesn't work. Shut up.
Okay.
Yeah, they win. They have a sweet little double team move called Grand Amplitude, which is just Jason Jordan launching a guy into the air, and then Chad Gable catches them on the way down into like a German suplex.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Who do they beat?
Vaudevillains.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. AJ Styles
Oh yeah, right.
has a message for John Cena.
Right. SmackDown.
AJ comes out with like, he's really pissed off. It's actually pretty awesome. And he's like, cut the music. Like, I'm not in the mood for it today, kind of thing. It was pretty sweet. And he says he's here for one reason, which is John Cena. But he's immediately interrupted by John Cena. He says, before I was so rudely interrupted. And then as he's saying that, soccer mom chants break out. I get a little mad.
I didn't know that was going to stick.
Yeah, it's stuck. Yeah, it's definitely a thing. He basically just says, like, why are you still here? Like, I beat you already, basically, is the shtick of this promo. And he says that Nashville, the people in Nashville have the weakest minds, and trust him, he knows, which I think was a shot at TNA.
Yes.
Yeah.
TNA is corporately based in Nashville.
Yeah.
That was cute.
Yeah.
That was a good dig.
So AJ starts ripping on kids in the crowd and stuff, like, because they like John Cena, right?
Ah, idiots.
And then AJ says he's here to be a really great wrestler. And Cena gets all fired up, does the usual Cena promo, and asks, like, he's here for the love of the business, passion, etc. And he asks AJ, why the hell are you here? And this basically leads to AJ challenging Cena at SummerSlam for a one-on-one match, settle the feud. Here we go.
All right.
And Cena accepts.
Cool.
Randy Orton fights Fandango, which ends about how you would expect it.
It's funny because he mentioned
Chris Jericho,
cool.
Yeah. But near the end of this match, Lesnar attacks Orton.
Oh, Lesnar does get in the building.
Yeah, Lesnar does get in the building.
I didn't watch this far into the episode.
Okay, yeah, he sneaks in. Big
How?
Lesnar. I don't know. I just picture Lesnar like lifting up the arena and walking in, you know. So yeah, he attacks Orton, gets his.
Why is that dumpster moving?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just Brock.
Oh, he's using it as a roller skate.
I see.
Wonderful. So yeah, Lesnar gets his comeback, and then they show them kind of like just scooting Lesnar out of the arena, like shoo,
Get out of
go you, and Lesnar's kind of does his thing. All right. Oh, we get Daniel Bryan backstage on the phone talking about Lesnar, and Heath Slater shows up, and Bryan basically asks, "How'd you get in here?" Slater says he would look great on the SummerSlam poster.
Well, it's just like we have all the security here for Lesnar. How the hell did Heath Slater get himself?
Slater says he's the hottest free agent, and nothing is bigger right now. Bryan announces that Slater will get a match next Tuesday, and if he wins, he gets a contract. And his opponent will... Oh, this is out in the ring, sorry.
You're right.
And Bryan says his opponent will be, and then Rhino appears behind Slater.
He's back.
Yeah, Rhino's back. I guess he's done running for mayor, or whatever what he was doing. And Heath Slater gets gored, which is just a spear.
It's just, when Rhino does a spear, it's a gore.
Yeah, it's different. It's probably like 25% stronger.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. If you did a gore on the announce table, is it additive or multiplicative?
I don't know. The shoulder is the hardest part of the Rhino.
Okay. We gotta stop getting distracted. Natalya and Carmella have a match, but not really. When Carmella's making her entrance, Natalya attacks her from behind, puts her in the sharpshooter.
Oh.
Basically doesn't let her out. And then we get a main event, Dolph Ziggler versus Bray Wyatt. Dolph Ziggler wins.
Dolph Ziggler wins.
And then we get a stare down between Ziggler and Ambrose, who Ambrose was on commentary.
Right.
Eric Rowan and Wyatt lay out Ziggler.
Ah.
Cold open of Randy Orton, and he's being interviewed, and she mentions that Randy Orton is fighting Alberto Del Rio tonight.
Oh, right. He's on SmackDown.
Yeah, he is. Before the banning,
Right.
anyway, or before the suspension. And he's staying focused on Lesnar, and he's going to take Lesnar to Viperville. Del Rio shows up and says Viperville sounds like a joke.
Where's he going to take him?
Viper? Oh, Arcade, Oklahoma. Orton offers Del Rio VIP experience to Viperville. Yuck, yuck, yuck. He says it's a bumpy ride with a hell of a landing. Yep.
Terrible.
We get Bray Wyatt in the ring. He says he did not fall to Ziggler last week. He was a victim. He says Ziggler was desperate, and that Wyatt says Ziggler ran him into steel and everything went black for him after that. Wyatt basically kind of he says, I'm a god, and no matter how hard you try, you can't kill God.
Well, of course not, yeah.
Of course not. He says this is his show, and he says there's no red or blue, it's just him against the whole damn world. It's pretty awesome.
I like that.
Yeah. And then Dean Ambrose interrupts.
I like that Bray is in the title picture.
Yeah, Bray's kind of just hovering. I think they're saving him for whatever reason. Maybe after Dean is done, I don't know. Because Dean's current opponent is AJ Styles.
Right.
So maybe sometime after that, if Ambrose stays champion. But you could still do Wyatt versus AJ. Bray goes to give Ambrose the Sister Abigail, and Ziggler tries to make the save.
Oh.
But he goes to super kick Bray, but Bray just pulls Ambrose out into the super kick.
Nice.
It was pretty great. Yeah, it was
good.
awesome. Yeah. Basically, backstage, Ambrose thinks that it wasn't an accident. Yada, yada, yada.
Right.
Yeah. And then they announce a tag team match for Ambrose Ziggler versus the Wyatts.
Oh.
We get American Alpha versus Mike Vega and Mikey O'Shea. Yeah, just tag team jobbers.
Weird.
Yeah. American Alpha win.
Yeah, I hope so.
To nobody's surprise.
Mike Vega and Mikey O'Shea.
Yeah.
All right. Tough luck, boys.
Then we get another Becky Lynch versus Eva Marie match, which doesn't happen because of
This is a wardrobe malfunction. All right.
Yeah.
I found out something today. This is more distractions. I found out something today on the subreddit. Whoever it is who does that voice must be like either a go-to for the WWE or someone they have on staff, because it's the same guy who did the announcer voice at the beginning of the Crime Time intro.
Never saw it.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Yo, 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 it's Crime Time. No?
Doesn't sound like the kind of guy who should be announcing a tag team called Crime Time.
Oh. Yeah, no, it was great.
Oh.
Check your rollies and pop your 40s. It's Crime Time.
Yo, 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 yo. Pop a 40 and check your rollies. It's crime time.
Brooklyn, Brooklyn.
Okay, that sounds awesome.
Yeah. Brooklyn.
So Becky Lynch gets all upset, and after the wardrobe malfunction, issues an open challenge. Alexis Bliss comes out. Halfway through the match, Eva Marie's music hits again.
Oh.
And Becky gets distracted, and Alexa rolls her up.
Okay. Does Eva come back out?
No. They interview Eva backstage, and they're like, I'll make my debut next week. Like, whatever. Orton versus Del Rio. It's a match.
Orton wins, I assume.
By DQ. Del Rio hits Randy with a steel chair.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
And then we get Heath Slater versus Rhino for Heath Slater's contract, which...
So Rhino wins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rhino wins. And it isn't pretty.
No.
Rhino's a big dude, too.
Rhino's real big.
He's just like... He's a square.
Yeah.
He's like a sponge.
I can't believe how young he is comparatively to the other ECW guys. Like, how young he was when he was still this huge beast in ECW. Because even now, he's only like... I actually don't know, but he's way younger than like the rest of the ECW
Oh, really?
originals, yeah. Which is why he's still in such good shape.
Yeah. We cut to the back, and we see Wyatt and Eric Rowan together. He's basically just asking Rowan to do what he does best tonight, which is destroy. I wouldn't really believe it.
We haven't seen a lot of evidence that Rowan's like...
They're trying.
All right.
They're trying, okay?
Fair enough.
They're trying. They haven't done a very good job with Eric Rowan. I cannot wait for Luke Harper to come back.
You can't just tell us that Rowan is a destroyer. We need to see some evidence of it.
We get a backstage segment with Slater throwing an absolute hissy fit backstage and to Shane and Daniel Bryan. He calls them losers, says he's out. He's too good for SmackDown anyway. And they storm off, and they look amused. Shane had a contract in his hand that he was going to offer Slater.
Oh, no.
Even though he lost, yeah. So it's like that was the kind of like the running gag, at least on SmackDown, was like they always kind of had this contract here for him, and they were just going to give it to him anyway, but Slater always does something to like screw it up, you know what I mean?
Is this where the crowd actually booed Shane and Bryan?
I think so, yeah.
Heath Slater
Is getting over.
got the crowd to boo Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Love
When
it.
people are chanting Keith Slater or we want Slater, it's not a joke anymore.
Yeah.
Awesome. Carmella versus Natalia as comeuppance for last week.
Right.
Carmella.
It's a real match. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She makes Natty tap out, and I can't remember the name of the move right now.
It's probably a really stupid name.
Yeah.
Remember, she was managing Enzo and Cass for a while, so
Yeah.
it's probably a really stupid name.
Yeah. And then,
None of the guys I watch wrestling with had seen that they call that the Bada Boom Shakalaka when we watched SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And they were like, what did they just say? The what? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. We're sorry.
The Bada Boom Shakalaka.
Actually come back to a backstage statement, and Baron Corbin is like jamming Kalisto's face into a wall.
Like
and
a
telling him-
playground bully?
Pretty much, yeah. And he's basically mad because Corbin thinks that Kalisto cost him a shot at the Intercontinental title.
The previous week? Or was it this week?
It was this week.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Corbin leaves him in a heap while the trainers check on Kalisto. So they're still kind of moving that forward. At some point, Kalisto got hurt, though.
Oh.
So he had to take time off.
Rough.
So, because they were going to have a match at SummerSlam. Main event, which is Dean Ambrose and Dolph Ziggler versus Bray Wyatt and Eric Rowan. Ziggler hits a super kick on Rowan to win. After the match, they're celebrating, and then Dean Ambrose hits a Dirty Deeds on Ziggler. And then fans chant yes.
Sweet.
Yeah. So, I don't know. They've done a really good job. I always felt like Dolph Ziggler was credible anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't really need a lot of convincing, even though he's just done nothing but lose. But I never really look at a wrestler and think about, like, their win-loss record. Like, that doesn't affect me personally when I look at a wrestler. And finally, we've got the final SmackDown for August 16th. Yeah.
Before
SummerSlam. We get an open of Randy Orton and Shane and Daniel Bryan again. And Randy Orton is signing a contract for the Lesnar fight.
Right.
And then someone knocks on the door, and it's Heath Slater, and he's showing up with a fruit basket to apologize for saying that SmackDown was a trash show, basically.
That's amazing.
And the basket is addressed to Bob, but it meant to say boss. So I'm sorry. Or Slater brings up standing toe-to-toe with Brock Lesnar the night before.
Right.
And Shane says it was impressive, but you did make fun of us last week. And then Randy Orton bites into an apple and says he has an idea. And then it cuts away. So we don't really, what's the idea?
I bet I know.
Yeah. We get a Miz TV with Dean Ambrose, and then pretty much immediately Dolph Ziggler comes out.
Right.
They cut promos on each other. There's actually a lot of passion, but at one point, Dolph Ziggler says, I want to kick your head off your face. And then immediately notices what he said and does like the, you know what I mean? You know when you say stuff like that, and you're just like,
That's when you realize you messed up.
yeah. Eventually, it leads
head
to
off your
Ziggler
face.
laying out Ambrose with a super kick.
Right. It took me a sec too. I was like, what's wrong with thinking? Oh,
Yeah,
kick your head
off your face.
Off your face.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. And then we get a six-man tag, actually. Now, mention giving away things that this was on the pre-show for SummerSlam. This same match. So, Usos, American Alpha, and the Hype Bros versus the Vaudevillains, the Ascension, and Breezango was the other tag team that we,
Whoopsies.
couldn't name. It's a tag match, and the Usos and American Alpha and the Hype Bros win.
All right.
Dean's shown backstage looking particularly miffed after getting his head kicked off his face.
One would. You can tell he's miffed because the face is still there.
Yeah. It's just blank.
Yeah.
It's like in video games when the face is
it's
there.
just the face.
Yeah.
There's no head. Standing in the reference pose.
They show that Eric Rowan is fighting Dean later that night. And also, Eva Marie will debut tonight.
I don't believe it.
Yeah. Naomi versus Eva Marie. Eva Marie's music plays, and that voiceover says that Eva Marie is stuck in traffic and will be unable to compete. And she apologizes. Naomi looks upset. JBL is super mad and goes off about how Eva Marie should fire her driver.
Her driver.
Yeah. AJ runs into Del Rio backstage and says he's excited because he has a front row seat to watching Del Rio beat up John Cena.
Beat up John Cena.
Yeah. And Sal says, it was great how you put Cena out of action, like their last time that they wrestled. And Del Rio basically says, like, look, man, I don't need your, like, fuck off. I don't need your
care about
bullshit.
you.
Yeah.
I do like that Del Rio's thing is like, I stone cold don't care about any of you guys.
Yeah. And he doesn't need the pep talk. And then AJ points out that he is in the main event of SummerSlam and Alberto's not even on the card.
Which is a good point.
Popo, peace. See you later.
Nice.
Yeah. We get, actually, the Randy Orton's idea ends up being Randy Orton versus Heath Slater.
Oh, what a surprise.
Yeah. But Orton has Slater in the corner with the right hands and doesn't break for the 5 count. Heath Slater wins by DQ. And the crowd loves it.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So after the match, Orton beats up Slater for a little while. Orton hits a couple RKOs. Oh, Orton hits a German suplex and does
nice.
like the Brock bounce in the ring. It was pretty great. And then we come back from that, and Heath Slater's receiving medical attention backstage, and he's on a stretcher, and he's out of it. And Slater, they say like, hey man, like, they walk in with a contract, and they're like, good job. He's like, yeah, I showed Brock Lesnar No Mercy. And they're like, No Mercy? That's a great idea for a name. That's the perfect name for our pay-per-view in October or whatever. Slater is like so out of it, he starts talking about Holy Foley, because he thinks Daniel Bryan is Mick Foley.
Oh, no.
And he says that Shane looks beautiful tonight, because he thinks he's Stephanie.
Okay.
And then they just walk out with the contract, like they don't even let him sign it. So the Heath Slater story continues.
Wow.
Yeah. Eric Rowan versus Dean Ambrose.
Yeah.
Dean Ambrose wins. It's after the match. Bray Wyatt's outside in his rocking chair, and after the match, Dean celebrates. Okay.
What a weird phrase.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's okay, go ahead.
Only in wrestling.
Yeah.
And after the match, Ambrose leaves, and then Wyatt kind of just stares at Rowan with the sheet mask in his hand, and then just leaves it on the rocking chair and walks away. I haven't watched SmackDown for this week yet, but I don't know if that's been continued on or not.
Interesting.
And Morrow speculates that this could be the end of Eric Rowan and Bray Wyatt. Carmella and Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss and Natalya. Becky eventually makes Natalya tap to the disarmer.
All right.
So basically, their
Good for
women's
Becky,
division,
finally.
they've done nothing with these last 3 weeks. Like, literally nothing. Tag division, there's nothing, because they don't have titles for them yet.
Yeah.
But even then, like, you don't need titles to make a story, right?
But there's just been no story.
There's no story, really. I mean, Natty attacking Carmella, I guess.
Yeah.
But nothing, like, substantial. Alberto Del Rio versus John Cena. It is a John Cena match.
This is the main event, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the main event. John Cena wins. But right after the match is over, AJ springboards in, hits the phenomenal forearm, and drops Cena, and fans boo.
Right.
And then AJ gets on the mic, and he's sick and tired about how the future goes through John Cena.
Nice.
Styles says that he will be the new face that runs this place
Nice.
after he beats Cena at SummerSlam. This is the best line. AJ says Cena's love for WWE is great because he's going to turn his passion into his prison.
Ooh.
Yeah. And he says Cena's time is up and my time is now.
Nice.
And he drops the mic. There was actually, I don't think I mentioned it at one point in one of the promos they had, was the best, the one line that I loved, and they showed it in the promo package, was AJ saying, the best thing about me beating you is, like, you're going to have to come out here and you're going to have to either tell everyone that I beat you and you're a loser, or you say that I'm not the best and you're a liar, which is awesome. I loved
great.
it. Yeah. So the AJ Styles John Cena thing was, and Ambrose and Ziggler was basically the two big threads running, because nothing else was happening really other than with Bray.
Right.
But, like, the tag division didn't do anything, and the women's division didn't really do anything. Well, I guess the Eva Marie stuff was, I guess that's unfair. The Eva Marie stuff is
character development.
Is character
at least, yeah.
development.
All leading up to
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, which is not this episode. But
No. God, no.
But
If you put a gun to my head and said, do SummerSlam right now, I'd tell you to pull the fucking trigger.
it is late.
Yeah.
Adam's on Twitter at WakeUpSuper.
Graham's on Twitter at Graham_LRR.
And this is brought to you by you and your support of our Patreon at patreon.com/LoadingReadyRun.
Which
2 in 2 days. Which what?
also provides a gaggle of streaming content.
Oh yeah, tons of streaming.
Twitch.tv/LoadingReadyRun. There's a show every day, and sometimes multiple shows.
And sometimes you.
And I stream on Saturdays.
Yeah.
I just chill and play games. I don't have a theme to my show.
That's okay.
That's okay.
You don't have to. And all the videos on this YouTube channel that you're watching too, or maybe you're listening to the podcast. We have other podcasts. We have other stuff. Go listen to it.
Yeah.
And that's it. Thank you for listening.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. 2 days in a row.